Couple things did go down slightly. Copier and lease supplies has gone down from last year. And permits due subscriptions slightly lower because last year we had a notary renewal we had to pay for, so we don't have one this year, so that's down a little bit. I am asking for a little bit more in the recording expenses. Last year I had asked for an extra licensing, a user license for our resolution program that we use for the land record systems for Diane. She doesn't have that on her computer, so she bounces back and forth between the indexing station and hers. It's kind of inconvenient. You know, she needs to look something up. She gets a phone call and she's at her desk. She's got to, you know, bounce around to another computer. That would be an additional $235 a month. So, and I did ask it last year, it got knocked out. So I'm going to ask again. So I think build that into the recording expense. But other than that, everything is pretty much the same. I'm not asking for any extra office supplies, office equipment, education, everything's the same.
Okay, so that recording expense, that would be, sounds like a subscription, or
It would be $3,000. Why is it 5,000?
yeah, we got $5,000.
Well, no, it was 39. I asked, so in my budget last year, it was 39.
Yeah.
And then, so I went up to 42.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I thought you said 235 a month.
235 a month. Is that?
3820.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Not the nitpick over.
Yeah,
They need the license, so we get that. But I mean,
Yeah.
it feels like it should be a sort of a round number and not round number, a
Okay.
specific number.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
so,
we may be,
question is, why is it-
I
we
mean,
may be
That's-
nitpicking
well,
at the end, so.
no, I know. And
Got that question
and
already
actually,
down.
yeah, and actually, recording expenses, I usually come a little under anyway. So I kind of like, well, I don't know. It's hard to judge with recording expenses because it just depends on how much you take in recording.
So that's a little bit of a basket
Yeah,
line item
yeah,
for various
yeah,
undetermined expenses as the year goes by.
yeah.
Good answer and a bad answer.
Yeah, I know.
There's a little bit of room there.
Yeah,
Okay.
no wiggle room. There's no wiggle room.
Thank you.
I think Sue has a question.
Just revenues.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, just when we get to
Sure.
revenues.
Revenue?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so revenue, there's no revenue. It's hard to judge. I mean, we don't, we have no control over the fees we take in, everything's set by the state of Connecticut. So, except for shellfish permits, which, well, actually, we have no control over that. So, I mean, they just tell us what we're getting $3 for each one we sell, and that's what we get. Pretty much, some things are pretty static. I mean, dog license, we generally issue about the same amount of dogs every year, so that's kind of easy to figure. Shellfish usually comes in around the same. Notary, it's hard to judge for recording fees what we're going to get. Some things, the recording. Our recording was a little bit up last year over the year before. So, we did take a little bit more, and the conveyance tax has been doing very well. We're getting a lot more high-end real estate transactions. And a lot more conveyance tax. So maybe we don't get as many, but they're bigger, so we'll just get more money. So it's hard to predict.
Sure.
Is the 90,000 based on where we stand?
Yeah,
This
it's kind of, I
Okay.
kind of based it
You're
on.
judging it on that.
Yeah. Sort of what we did last year.
Mhm.
And and we hope for more, but we don't know.
Well, are all your fees From statute or from the state?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I was kind of wondering if
Yeah.
they've been saying for 10 years.
they've gone up they've gone up on a few things. Last year they did go up on the recording fees from $60 for the first page to $70. A couple of years ago, they went up on, well, they've done away with them now, but liquor permits, they went up from $5 to $20, but now they're saying they don't need to record the liquor permits in the town clerk's office anymore, so we will lose that revenue, but it wasn't, terribly much. And dog licenses has been the same forever, for a very long time. And notary has been the same. So, yeah, unless they tell us the fees are going up, we don't have any control over what we take in. We can't say we're gonna go up on the dogs this year, because
The notary expenses are determined by statute, what we can charge.
what we can charge, yeah. Yeah, we can't charge
You know,
more
on the
than,
private side, notaries can charge
they can charge whatever.
whatever they want.
Yeah. Yeah.
So back to the recording fees. Under FY 26 budgeted, that's the year we're in now.
Mm-hmm.
And the 125,000 is what you believe you will end up with in June?
No,
No,
we're
is
way,
that
we're
last year?
way behind.
Yeah, that was what I hoped for.
So where are we in this year?
Through November, we collected 21,000, so then 103,000 left to collect.
Okay,
So
It will probably.
I think that is
that.
probably
Okay.
pretty much in line.
so that's why, so that you put in another
That's-
meeting as
Yeah.
an estimate for.
Yeah, that was an estimate. That was an estimate. And like I said,
Okay,
it's very hard to figure
okay.
where you're gonna be.
Well, aren't as many real estate transactions as
No,
for sure.
it fluctuates. Yeah. Fortunately.
Anything else? Any other questions? Thank you.
I told you. we'd be
Well
short.
done. Go to the net positive on revenue. Okay,
I am gonna look into
Yep.
that COT system so I can see where we pay $2,005 a month. Maybe it should be IT. It's not recording expense.
what?
COT,
COA.
COTT.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a license fee.
Yeah, so I made that note.
Tony will be happy to take that expense.
Sure, we don't have enough in IT.
Okay, might as well get ahead of the curve here, right? Human services. Yeah, come on up.
Hi, Susan, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning, Pam.
Nice to see you all again.
You as well.
Regular meeting. All right, it's amazing how fast time goes. It's just- Yeah, 2026. All right, so this year, well, first of all, I'm Pam Elman. I'm the Chair of the Human Services Council. We are a group of 9 members. We're all volunteers. We have some new faces coming in the fall. So we're excited. We have some turnover, which is, sad to lose members who have such historical knowledge, but it's always good to have bring in new fresh faces. So that's a really good thing.
And for the record, Pam has a lifetime appointment. Certainly seems like it. She's been doing it for.
I actually offer up the position of chair every fall, and I'm routinely turned down. It's not mine, and I want to make sure everybody realizes that. But I do enjoy doing it. And we're a good group. We work very well together. And it's a very busy time, October, November, when we do this work. It's really busy, but we all really enjoy it. So, all right, so I'll get started. So this year, for fiscal year 26, we've received 18 applications for funding. This is 5 less than last year. And we're recommending funding for 17. No new organizations applied this year. The total requested was $191. we are recommending funding in the amount of $131,691, which is 12,000 more than last year. All right, to be very clear, to be eligible for funding from the town, each applicant must be a 501c3 nonprofit, must serve Guilford residents, and must provide some type of human service such as basic needs, childcare, education, healthcare, substance abuse treatment, or trauma-related care. Each organization must complete an application, which is available on the Human Services Council page of the town website in August. Excuse me. Along with the application, they must submit their most recent financial statement, Form 990, and a list of their board of directors. Each organization is then invited to give a presentation to the Human Services Council. These meetings are held in October. We then have the opportunity to ask specific questions about their application. We always ask about their other sources of funding and their fundraising efforts. Additionally, for the organizations that serve residents from multiple towns, and there are several, we ask how they ensure that Guilford funds are used only for Guilford residents. This year, we tried to prioritize funding in the categories of basic needs, children and youth, wellness and mental health, education, and seniors. In addition to submitting our funding recommendations, we wrote a summary of each organization, which you should have. It's a 9 or 10-page document. So that's summary of what we do. And if you have specific questions about any of the nonprofits, how we decide how much to recommend, why their numbers, anything about the numbers, they're all, like I said, they're all, we didn't receive any new applications this year, as opposed to last year where we received 5. This year was definitely a bit of a drop. We advertise what we do in the same way we've always done it, which is that we put, I think it's Karen from your office, Matt, puts a notice on the town Facebook page that the application is open. And I have a giant email list, which I send out to all the nonprofits basically on the shoreline that we know serve Guilford residents, and the Guilford Foundation also uses their email list as well. There's obviously some overlap, but that's how we try to reach as many nonprofits as we can. Additionally, the Human Services Council, in conjunction with Youth and Family Services and Town Social Services, holds 2 meetings a year. We call it the Guilford Human Services Network, where we encourage human services organizations from all over the shoreline to attend. In the meeting in March, it's always about the state budget. Matt attends. We have our state reps attend, state senators attend. So it's a way for all the nonprofits, if they don't know each other, to get to know each other, to talk, figure out what they have in common, how they can collaborate. And we have another meeting in the fall as well. And usually we focus on an issue that's very important to our town and to a lot of the nonprofits. We've been focusing for the past few years on affordable housing. But anyways, that's another way to get out the word about what the Human Services Council does, because we're part of that organizing group that holds that twice a year. That's how we get the word out. Any questions about any of the specific funding recommendations? About any of the organizations themselves?
I've got a larger macro question. Was there any theme amongst the applicants relative to cuts in social services that
I can't hear you, Matt.
I'm sorry. Was there any theme amongst the applicants relative to the impact of the cuts for federal programs, many of which these guys receive?
Yes. There was a big concern about SNAP funding because this was happening in October before the state, I think, decided to backfill the SNAP benefits. So yes, that was a huge concern. So many of course, Judy Barron from Community Dining Room was all over that. That was one of her biggest concerns. Almost all of these organizations, I shouldn't say almost all, many of them serve residents who are low income. And clearly, if they receive Medicaid, if they go to community health center or BH Care, the big new, center in North Branford. Um, um, they usually, if they receive Medicaid, they usually also receive SNAP. So there was a big concern, not just among providers of Meals on Wheels, the dining room, anything that serves seniors about food. That was the biggest concern. Obviously, the unknown about Medicaid cuts was also a big concern too, but that was a little harder for everybody to pin down exactly how that would affect their clients. But the SNAP benefits was really easy to pin down, and people spoke about that quite a bit. The gentleman who came from CHC Community Health Center, the past several years has been an administrator who came, but this year and last year was a clinician came hands-on with patients, and he described some of the struggles that they foresee they're going to be having with people and being on, Medicaid being cut, SNAP. It was all the same thing. But he was here in Guilford actually. He's a psychiatric nurse, I think, and he's terrific. He's one of the best spokesmen from CHC I've ever heard. And he was adamant that CHC would never veer from their course. Obviously, they're a federally qualified health center. They treat everybody who walks in. That's required. But he said, our services will not change. We will take every client, no matter what, what they can pay or can, what their situation is. Also, some of these organizations, such as Community Dining Room, help their clients to sign up for benefits. So Judy makes a point of, they used to be a little more hands-off as far as where their clients come from, but we asked her, we said, we need to know how many of the people that come to you from Guilford. It helps us to understand what your need is. And then from that evolved a question of, well, if you have folks who come to you who are hungry, what other services can you potentially point them towards that might help them overall? So they actually help them sign up for SNAP. They help them sign up for Medicaid. If they know that they know what town they're coming, you say your town, you might be able to get fuel assistance. This is who you should talk to in your town, such as in our town. So there are, and BH Care does the same thing. They help their folks sign up for other services that they can apply for. So these are more holistic. They're not just the one service that they come to us for. We need funding because you have mental health, but they try to provide a holistic care for the residents. Those are our
supportive services.
right. Another word for it. Right.
Do you have a feel, and we can see this when we go through our paperwork ourselves, but do you have a feel for who relies the most on federal funding in this group?
Who relies on us on federal
Yeah, it's so worrisome. I mean, interesting, you pointed out last August, there was food insecurity. We were all focused on. I mean, the past couple of days, with substance abuse and mental health things, it's been like whiplash. Well, I understand that that's been actually restored. I don't know if that's true or not.
I think it was.
It was just
this morning
or something. So, and we're talking about a year and a year. So
Right.
who knows what the next thing is going to be?
Well, I would probably have to point to BH Care because so much of the work they do is substance abuse and mental health. They always tell us that, their reimbursement rates don't go up. They just don't go up, and they're lower than Medicaid. Medicaid, lower than Medicaid. Right. Which one? They told me. The reimbursement rates they don't increase. And they have been hiring more clinicians to treat because they have more patients. And they want to give their clinicians obviously a good wage to keep them there. A couple of years ago, there's a big problem. We were losing nurses, we were losing daycare providers. They want to keep their clinicians because there's a need for them. But reimbursement rates are not going up. So I would see that BH Care probably is the one that is really relies on federal funding the most. Most of these organizations on here, I think Orchard House also receives federal funding because that's through clients who are Medicare, right? That's federal funding. But the rest of the other ones, I don't think any of the other ones receive any federal funding. Some don't even receive state funding, right? Like I think it's the before and after care program. There's no state funding. So I think BH Care, to answer your question, Susan, I think BH Care is the one that relies the most on federal funding. And they They're the biggest demand in the year. Yeah. And we try our hardest obviously we can't fully fund them. This year they asked for $25,000. We can't do that. We know we can't do that. Last year they asked for 23. No, excuse me. Last year they asked for 25. We recommended 23 and then we cut it to 17. After I got the dreaded phone call. And
Everybody loves me, right, Pants?
this year they've asked for 25 again. We're recommending, based on what happened last year, we're recommending 18, 1,000 more than last year, but not close to set 23, which is what we hoped we would fund them last year. So that's the one, Susan, I would say relies the most on fertility.
Pam, is Little Sprout Learning Center a new one, or are they returning to us?
Yes, Little Sprouts is new. Little
It's just-
Sprouts is the new North Guilford Nursery School. They're brand new. We met their director, their director came for the meeting. Matt, you can explain this better than I, but the town worked with, after North Guilford left.
The board of directors folded the nursery school completely unannounced about a year and a half ago.
Right.
Left several families in North Guilford without access to daycare. Liza and myself worked to allow them to get a license on an expedited fashion. The Guilford Foundation gave them some seed money to get it up and running. So I've worked with the Office of Early Childhood Development in order to get resources to help them get formulated. And their enrollment's growing again.
Yes, it is growing.
So,
Yeah.
and I would actually, I had pinpointed the 4 school programs. The challenge for those folks is so extreme in terms of the cost and being able to provide sliding scale for some families in this town who
Right.
otherwise wouldn't be able to work if they didn't have some assistance in putting their children in daycare. So, and it was just to add it up. You've got a substantial amount that is going to the
Guilford Center for Children.
Guilford Center for Children.
They have the sliding
they
scale
do.
slots.
The sliding scale as well.
Right.
So this it clearly is a need throughout the state. Right here in Guilford as well. So.
Right. Also, when North Guilford Nursery School shut down so quickly, Guilford Center for Children and the Community Nursery School, I think that's the one.
Yep.
Right. They took those kids
And,
just and helped the families out. Well, obviously they had no childcare. They absorbed those children
Right.
and obviously absorbed costs. And
you can see the emphasis. There's 35,000 of the 131,000 is going to
childcare.
childcare.
It's really an economic issue. This it's hard to find people to fill jobs and.
Well, and they're in a critical position because there's legislation floating around up in Hartford. It may have been passed. I don't know about certification process for the teachers.
Yeah.
Turning it into a diploma factory.
We talked about that in that last meeting.
Last
you were,
meeting.
right?
And there are writers, teachers, et cetera, who have been working in this industry for 30 years, who might not be eligible to continue to do so. So, the legislature is working on a grandfathering process for those who have experience. So anyway, John,
Just curious, does the Guilford school system have a preschool program?
no, they do not. They house them in their facility, and that is the before and after school program that's on this list at 10,000.
That's at Guilford Lakes only.
No, it's
No.
Calvin Lee.
Oh, now it's one.
Calvin Lee and Guilford Lakes.
So
Oh, no, and is Cox at one
I
too?
think ours does.
I think all 3 have them. Melissa Jones has one, but it's not part of this program. It's a separate for-profit. So I don't know anything about them. The other 3 have their own before and after school programs.
Okay. Yeah.
Anything, bro?
Also, just wanted to give a plug for the Guilford Interfaith Volunteers. Always the most impressive folks around. They're just amazing people every year.
Yeah.
And we always recommend full funding for them. We will never cut them. Just so you know. They're terrific. They just amazing work that they do every year.
We're working with them currently. We're in a program, a diaper dispenser.
I know, it's gonna be right
It's
over
gonna be,
here.
it's gonna be at
fantastic.
the Highland House.
We learned all about it.
That's gonna be one.
It's gonna be like Charlie's Closet for
We're using
children.
the area to the right as you look at the Highland
The
House, which is an
Lathrop House.
Lathrop House.
Okay.
Yeah, not Highland House, Lathrop. There's 2 rooms to the utilizing that for, this was an issue when freezers that are currently in 52 Church Street, as well as the diaper dispensary for.
Pediatric.
It's the next iteration of Charlie's Classic.
Yeah, which is a terrific idea.
They'll be freezing the diapers.
Extends their life cycle.
That's right.
Anything else? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Mark, district.
You guys
Come on up, man.
scheduled today.
Yeah, yesterday we were woefully behind. Today,
Oh,
right. We're ahead.
oh, wow, these roll.
Good morning.
Morning. For those of you who don't know, my name is Ann Street. I'm currently the chairman of the Historic District Commission, and I'm here to defend our budget.
Been under attack already.
I don't know. Four line items in our budget, and we pay our secretary at a rate negotiated by the town. So that is what it is. There's an increase in that line, not to our problem. The line on printing includes not only the public notices that we are statutorily required to print before every meeting, but also the fact that we are required to notify property owners by certified mail, which means that a 1 cent, 57-cent stamp, actually, when we want to mail that letter, it costs us closer to $10. Under education and training, that $100 typically, we use that to belong to our statewide sort of governing body or reference body. The Connecticut Trust runs programs, information and training programs for historic districts, and that's what that is. And under miscellaneous expenses, that's where we go if, for example, we have to have a special meeting and notice that in the New Haven Register rather than the local paper, because that's almost $400 or $500 as opposed to 50 or 60. So if we need to do that, that's where we go for that extra money. That's what we do. Our budget is essentially the same as it was last year, except for the additional funds for the secretary and the $40 that were reduced from our budget last year. So. Questions?
Straightforward.
Yep.
That's a good one.
I know.
Straightforward.
There's not much wiggle room. So let me go to the narrative part.
Okay.
And call your attention to the performance measures. Because there's one thing in here that I think is a little bit different than we normally see. First of all, we saw 31 applications last year, which is way up. We normally run about 25, and about half of those are really pretty easy. They're offense, and we publish a notice, we have a meeting, we look at the product literature, and then that's pretty much the end of it. Recently, though, we've seen a lot more big projects that require significant time from the commission members. Somebody wants to demolish their garage. The first thing we have to do is deal with the demolition delay ordinance, not only at the local level, but we also have to document it pursuant to national trust standards to the state and get it approved by them. So that means a narrative has to be written, photographs have to be taken, it's submitted to the state, and then once they approve that, then we can move ahead with the demolition. And then we have however many meetings it takes to review what's proposed. We've seen 2 or 3 completely new houses within the district over the last couple of years. And you can imagine the level of detail review that's required for something like that relative to a fence where you look at the picture in the brochure and say, yeah, that's fine. This year we had one application that was denied. And I think that general perception is that we are in the business of saying no, but we're not. The one that was denied last year was because it was an insurance project, and the owner of the property filed her application really early in the process, and then realized that it was going to be a longer discussion than she thought. We're statutorily limited to 65 days on an open application. And so when we run out of that, we either have to approve it or deny it. And we can deny it without prejudice, which is what we did. And that's basically just, let's start the clock again.
Yeah.
And so there was one of those last year. I think there's going to show up another one this coming year on our, for that same reason.
So it's possible they'll still get approved as they go around again.
Well, if you look at the application, or the narrative, it says, I wrote, the reason for the denial was failure to complete the application and review process within the 65 days. A follow-up application for this property was successfully processed and approved.
Oh, okay.
And that's normally how we do it. We have very, very seldom, flat out denials.
Oh, that's good. Not good that it took so long, but it's still good that,
Well, we have no
Eventually.
control over that.
Right,
I mean, we can stamp our feet and say, get it done quickly. We need, that doesn't help.
It didn't
So,
take the historic district commission long. It took the contractor long.
well, it was more the insurance.
Or
company.
insurance
Yeah,
insurance.
yeah,
Okay.
there was a lot of back and forth on that.
But it's not like they were waiting to hear back with their approval. Wasn't the issue.
Yeah, we,
And the homeowner was in the middle of a battle with the
oh,
insurance.
yes, oh, yes, they absorbed most of the agony on that whole project, yeah. Any other questions about our budget or how we operate or? what we
appreciate
spend
the
our money
narrative
on?
though.
Is your commission fully staffed? Everyone, all positions are filled?
I believe there's one empty position.
Is that an alternate
I
position?
think it's an alternate position. And maybe I can address that a little bit. When we have open seats, we typically look at our membership, this, we look at our guys and we say, what kind of skills do we need to be able to do the projects that we are required to do? For example, writing a delay of demolition report to the state is probably not something somebody who just lives in an old house and loves it could do. There are levels that are disseminated by the National Park Service about how the documentation is, how they're labeled, what the descriptions are. And so you really need people who have a little bit of professional expertise. That's what sort of makes it difficult, because our statute requires us to have that kind of expertise. It requires us to have half of our members who live in the district, which means there's really only 200 people from whom to choose for those positions. And then we're required to have a good split between Republicans and Democrats and independents. And that's what has always been difficult for us, is to get that balance with people who are actually qualified.
Yes,
So what we've typically tried to do is, when we find someone who seems to be a fit on experience, we try to recommend them as somebody who would be helpful to the commission, irrespective of political party.
Yeah. Good, and I'd be remiss if you didn't all recognize the fact that you're coming to the end of your second 4-year term, but that's not the only times you
I
were
think
on.
this might be my third loop,
Yeah, I thought
yeah.
so, I thought.
because
And-
I've lived in Guilford for 35 years, and I think I've pretty much been on the historic district most of that time.
So just on behalf of the community and the board, thank you for your service and your leadership of the historic.
Thank you.
Thank
No further questions?
thank you.
All right, you want
We're gonna skip to information systems. I think Karen's calling Rob as well, so
Skipping to me?
skipping to you.
we have to listen to him?
No, you don't.
I was waiting at the end of the day for him.
Wasn't the end of the day. It was next anyway. Well,
I thought you were gonna be the closer. Thank you.
short one.
Yeah, we keep it in the middle here, it's fine.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Mary Jane.
Always willing to serve you, Tony. What I handed out was just a breakout of all the line items and Tony will.
You want me to get started?
Far away.
All right, full-time salaries, the usual for contract. The wide area network services, the only thing that's pretty much the same, except we added now, Town Hall North in there for Comcast. So that's going up a little.
If I could just comment on that,
Mhm.
Tony and Jeremy worked diligently to see whether they could get local connectivity.
Yeah, that was rough.
Between the two buildings, microwave.
I tried to do wireless. What is it?
What
The
had-
church was in the way. Try to get them to knock the church down.
But
But he had to go to the historic district, so that didn't work.
Oh, also, okay, going forward now, there's a lot of other departments' IT requests or the things that they've already had are now in mine. So you're gonna see a lot more in here. For instance, like the assessor put something in here now. Things like that.
Yeah, we got one more to add, COT systems for the town clerk, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Tony, which building is this you're trying to
Later
connect?
house.
Wait,
Oh, Lathrop House. Yeah,
It's Town Hall North now.
the old
Superintendent.
where engineering is now. And I think John is in there.
School administration moved up to the building on the grounds of the high school.
yeah.
It's in front of the library.
Yeah.
And how did you do that? Did you run a cable or?
No, well, we started with we looked into fiber. A lot of money.
prohibited.
Yeah. And then we thought we could get it done by wireless, but we couldn't do that. So now Comcast was a cheaper route. And we have a firewall there that just connects us to the town through a VPN. Seamless, like the end user doesn't have to do anything. It's just they
Okay.
log on and
Cloud.
we're good to go. Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
Thanks.
Software licensing support and maintenance. We got all of Tyler Technologies in there. I don't think anything's changed with that, right? No.
No.
The Pace 10 is a packet of training that you could use with them. Or whatever. Is that Board of Ed too?
Yeah, we're no
You cut-
longer doing.
Oh,
but we
yeah,
cut
you're
that.
right. You're right. I didn't put a little star next to it. Okay. Quality data service, that's going up a little. Equality valuation, which is their CAMA software. That's just gone up very little. ClearGov is in there. That looks to be this a little bit more. Onboard is in there now, which we got rid of Diligent and Board Pack, and everyone's using that. I do not know why that went up so much. It's probably the amount of users. When we start. Oh, no, it went up because, Diligent was cheaper and it was, yeah, no good. Yeah,
No dice.
no dice with that one. And then that's the cost of onboard. Okay, answer my.
And now that we've on board and we're using it.
And everyone's okay with it? It's been,
It's
Yeah.
more expensive.
Of course,
of course, yeah.
because it works better. That's why the other one didn't work.
And they've been very responsive, like when we email them or
That's-
whatever, they get back to us
Service.
quick. Debt book.
I just want to make a comment about
Debt book.
Debt Book that I've been using that for mainly for subscriptions and leases, which were a GASB requirement. I am reviewing that software. I'm potentially taking that out. So because our needs aren't as great as the cost that they charge us. So I mean, back to you taking that out.
That's debt book.
Debt Book,
You
yes.
say you might take that out. Would you?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Debt Book, yep.
Smart sheet. Darlene requested that, and that's 4. You're
to,
purchasing?
Yeah, for all of our bid documents, we use it to manage the process, timeline, when things have to go out, we're able to, it's actually a great little piece of software. We may even try to use it in the place of NetBook if we can get it to work.
Okay.
Yeah, you can add attachments to it. It almost kind of looks like an Excel sheet, but it's pretty neat. You could email from it. You could, I could send out, so say I have 5 contractors that need responses for questions and answers for bids. I could email them directly the documents right from this platform. Very nice and very reasonably priced.
It was a no-brainer for that cost.
Yeah.
The-
$700.
When you got it, you said it was gonna save a lot of.
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
It didn't go up, so.
Yeah.
Okay, software. Tyler Technologies Energov, which it's a different name now. It's called EP&L, Enterprise Permit and Licensing. That's for Town Hall South and engineering in Lathrop. AutoCAD, that went up a little. That's just the renewal. Bluebeam is getting removed. They do not want to. They first got that, and then now they're saying they're not using it. So I'm like, okay, I'm removing it.
And by they, it's the people,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
all of land use that were using that product.
It's all really of Town Hall South and engineering. They weren't. It was supposed to be where they could review their drawings and whatnot, mark it up, and I don't know.
Probably don't need it because they're
Yeah, I
just
guess.
talking about it rather than.
But what are they doing instead? Sorry, Mike.
No, it's good.
I did not ask. I don't know.
I mean,
I
is
can get an
that,
answer for you.
is that inconsistent with the sort of the overall automation?
The process?
There, everything's supposed to be like. people come in, they
Supposedly-
log in.
I'm guessing they just didn't need that added service now that they've got Energov up and running.
Maybe they felt they weren't using it as much. Maybe they're just marking up PDFs and
I was gonna say, there's
Yeah.
other tools in PDF you could use.
Yeah.
Use PDF to mark up. Yeah, that's what.
share it with each other.
But great.
So we saved some money there. ArcGIS, also for Town Hall South. That's their aerial GIS look parcels up and whatnot. All right. Departmental software. Therapy notes is for youth and family. That didn't change. You know, to track their
Their billing,
should pull out billing,
that's their
yeah.
billing.
tracker software is PubWorks. That's for Public Works. That's their cars, their all infrastructure there, the parts, inventory, things like that. Matt, you want to talk about Zen City?
Yeah, Zen City, we last year took it out, but we're unaware that we had an extended license contract with them. So this contract will expire in November, I believe, is end of October. Early
Yeah, end of October.
end of October. So we're going to this number is only going to be what 20,000 at 20,000 at most to cover through November. And then we're negotiating with them about a la carte services. The most helpful piece of their software has been the survey that various departments have been using. Economic development's been using it. Let's see, Park and Rec uses it regularly. Our town planners used it on surveys for the POCD. It's also a community-wide survey. Actually, taking place right now. They're collecting data on that right now to identify priorities within the community and overall satisfaction scores. So the only piece that we would like to hold on to with them would be the survey tool because it's all done electronically. It's push surveys. It's not like we're emailing them out. It's done by identifying folks with through cell phone.
Probably analytics that they use.
So that'll be substantial.
So we're honoring the contract that we have with them, and then Then we're negotiating targeted.
A la carte,
Okay. So it has to be in there for a minimum of 20.
say 20, put 20 in it.
Okay, we can reduce that to 20.
Vermont Systems, that's about the same. That's real maintenance renewal.
Yeah, and we use Rec Track for other services. Started just the park and rec. But we have other
Golf.
module, golf, marina or something.
Social services
Social service.
uses it for the gift fund to accept donations. We also were using it we were using it for the waste transfer station to sell the dump passes, but those have since gone away.
Lexipol, that's a learning module for the police department. What it exactly is, I'm not 100% sure.
Training, online
It's
training.
online training, yeah. Zoom. And that's just a renewal, but I want to talk about that a little bit since we're here. And you'll see later on when we talk about Microsoft 365, we have a lot of options now with Microsoft, and Teams is one of them. And everyone in the town that has an email address or an account can do a lot of stuff with that. Everyone can use Teams. They have a terabyte of storage, recordings that they could record. Whereas now with Zoom, we don't have many end user licenses. So in the selectmen's office, they have to log on as a shared account, kind of work ways around it. We could convert. This is just ideas in my head. We could convert this room into a Teams room instead of a Zoom room, and you would do the same exact thing, but it would be under Teams.
We already paid for the Teams licenses.
It's part of Office 365.
Office 365.
Potentially switch from Zoom to Teams.
That's the plan. We've had.
I'm just thinking of it. Yeah, save money.
And we've got several months to do that. So.
Oh yes, yeah. We got a while.
When's do we know when the Zoom license is up?
It'll probably after July 1 some point.
Let's find out exactly
When it is. Okay.
The only question I have is, without the Zoom license, would we still be able to access a Zoom meeting from this facility as well as?
Yeah, it would be like, say a Zoom meeting gets set up.
By somebody else.
Like right now, if you were to start a meeting with the controller in here, there's an option to do a Microsoft Teams. And you put the code in manually. So you probably can do that with Zoom.
So
the other way around.
But my question is larger than that.
But
My question is, we all participate in a bunch of virtual meetings. And if they are Zoom, how am I going to be, if every user going to be able to access a Zoom meeting, even though we don't have a license, a town-wide license?
Somebody else on the outside.
No, I'm not creating. I'm invited to a meeting.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, you do that.
I think they do that with the clients free, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It would be
But you're trying to confirm.
We've
Yeah.
got dozens of people in Lyons that don't have Zoom
then you get on
subscriptions. They all are on our Zoom meetings.
Yeah, you would still be able to use it. I'm just thinking out loud.
But more importantly, we'd be able to use it in this fashion to do meetings, right? People who are on Zoom.
To just join a meeting that you didn't create. Yes, you definitely can do that.
Okay.
Can be recorded
The
just as
biggest
well,
issue, the
right?
biggest issue is preference.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I
Yeah.
have found that some people will live and die by the sword on Zoom and some by Teams. And if it's a cost saving measure, you can adjust to Teams or adjust to Zoom just as easy, vice versa.
I mean, hey, we don't.
It works the same way. It's just a preference. Do you know the
Yeah.
clicking and everything getting through the Zoom or
You get used to something.
Teams? It's your preference. So it could be done.
And we could keep both. I mean, it's not my call. I'm just tossing it out there.
There's an expense there that we could get rid of.
It's my perception that it's really gone much more away from Zoom and towards Teams.
Teams.
Seen that?
It has.
It
It has.
Yeah.
Because of
Me and Jeremy been playing.
Everyone's got Microsoft, right?
Exactly, yeah.
They all
Yeah.
they already have teams
So
built in.
they're
Why am I
paying
paying
for it
somebody?
already, why am I? Yeah.
Right, and, but then people are getting more used to it, like you said.
But some people will pay for it themselves. Like I prefer Zoom. So I pay for my own subscription to Zoom. So that's not through the office. So I do it myself. But I mean, I would save 15, 17 bucks a month, whatever it is. And I just get rid of it and I use Teams. So it's just a preference issue. So
Right.
yeah.
My buddy who works at the state, the whole state, it's
They're
all teams.
right?
All
All
teams.
teams. Yeah.
And
Most municipalities are. Almost all municipalities are. It's one of the few that I know that actually still use Zoom. Like all the big Bridgeport, Sanford, they're all teams.
And we are, we are continuing to encourage our users because we finished the migration to 365.
Yeah, I'll talk more about it when we get to that
We're
one.
trying to drive more value out of Microsoft 365. We're going to be getting rid of Take Notes, which is our messaging system that they've had here for years.
And start using Teams, and I've already started doing that.
In Teams as opposed to an overlay. So we need to
Lot of stuff.
maximize what's inherent in 365.
OneDrive is included with a terabyte of storage. So if we have big files that we can't email, we can put it in our OneDrive and share a link to it.
Yep. You can
Lot
use
of
that
stuff,
pretty,
yeah.
pretty easily too, I think.
Yeah.
I just have a comment. I think from a usability standpoint, there might be some subtleties, but it's kind of basically the same product, right? So if it's redundant, why not save the taxpayers some money? I don't know how much pain you have to go through to switch, though.
It would be like,
It's more of like a training issue.
yeah, I mean,
It's really that too. It's Microsoft product and it's
That's-
pretty intuitive.
Yeah.
There's no switch.
There's no switch. It's just
Yeah.
teaching
It's all
our
there.
It's
employees to use
learning
a
it,
different,
yeah.
yeah.
All right. It sounds like you're heading that way.
We'll jettison it.
all right, Civic Plus. Oh my God, I forgot what Civic Plus is.
That's-
Archive social.
That's the new.
Oh, yes. Archive Social, which that was in the police department,
Yes.
right? Near map. Becky's not in here. All right, so near map is for the assessor's office. And
She presented that last year in the budget and it was approved and it got moved into IT for that, so I'm not sure.
so it's to check permits work of completion without having to drive to the various locations. Find under.
Say that again. She can check the permits while she's driving to the location. Is that what I heard?
Check. I think with
Without
the answer, she had permit work. So like say somebody puts a permit in, they could go and look on this near map.
It's like a Google Maps,
Yeah, it's overview.
but it's more time sensitive. Like
Yeah.
they can see something, yeah.
Yeah, whereas Google Maps, they probably go around, I don't know how often, and they do a new aerial view. This is a lot more,
We're up to date.
Up to date,
satellite
yeah.
shot.
satellite related.
Yeah, assessors offices are starting to
And it
use it.
said, and she said also to find unpermitted work like decks, pools,
Mhm.
that kind of stuff.
Wow, ouch, eye in the sky, huh?
Yeah.
It's satellite based, is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know
So-
that public officials cannot use drones to do exactly what you were just talking about, which is identify.
Well, we're not doing it. Someone else is.
I think we need to run this by Pete.
Near map is the one doing that. But yeah, I don't know.
Utilizing the tool.
We're paying for it.
We're
Well,
utilizing.
maybe Becky might have an answer.
Paula, is Becky in the office? Paula, I see that you're on the Zoom.
She could be with somebody.
Jen?
Okay, I think we understand.
Okay.
the
Yeah,
basic
yeah.
functionality. My request is that we run this by Pete.
Oh, wait a second. I got something else. Here, hold on. Here's another. This is a message from Nearmap. We don't really get any privacy concerns from our customers. We cannot identify faces or license plates, which are the only concerns I've encountered. We comply with regulatory requirements relevant to aerial imagery.
I'm not satisfied.
Well, that's somebody from them telling us,
Okay.
yeah.
Sales tax.
I wanted to give you everything I had.
I'm glad you brought it up.
Sorry, I don't have audio on mine.
Oh, sorry.
Becky will be in a few minutes,
Okay.
actually, but it is an airplane that goes over and does all that. So.
Oh, airplane.
An airplane or a drone?
No, it's airplane. Airplane.
Crazy.
Wow.
Well, they're mapping it. They're flying over and mapping it. It's a static product. It's not, it's not a dynamic product.
Okay.
It's a static product. So,
She'll be up here.
We can get more information and always come back at another time instead of,
Here's my question. You said that we approved it last year, but there's,
well, it came up last year in the budget.
but
For
we didn't buy
capital.
it last year, or
There's no
we
amount. in
knocked it
the-
out, or?
that's because they moved it in.
It wasn't budgeted, right? It budgeted as opposed to, right?
And I don't know how many like other municipalities are already using it, but we could look into it.
We don't need to delay today's meeting.
Yep,
We can
yep.
get more information on that for the next one.
Thank you. Dropbox, that's very small, but that's another one that possibly can go away because now we have OneDrive with Office 365. It's similar file sharing tool.
Let's,
What are the security measures on each of those two? Is 360, is Microsoft's more secure, the cloud storage than Dropbox? I mean, do we know?
They're probably all
Dropbox
the
is
same.
probably-
I would say Microsoft is probably more secure than Dropbox.
but Dropbox is probably using AWS anyway.
Yeah, they all use Amazon Web Services now with cloud storage. Not going to say nothing's ever 100%, but you know. Casebook, that's for youth and family. That's a renewal. So system server security software. Arrowhive, which is not called Arrowhive anymore. That's called Extreme. Those are all our wireless access points. That's a renewal. Sophos is a renewal. That's our antivirus and spam phishing tests that we send out to users, which has gotten a lot better. We were catching like 50, 60 people. Now we do it. It's usually under 5. So it's working. That get caught. The last one we sent out, it was only one person.
And when they get caught, they have to go through a
They
training.
have to go through a training, yep. It's usually 5 minutes. It's quick training.
Go in the stocks on the green,
What?
Getting a little extreme these days.
getting a little.
Very old school technique.
American Office Equipment, that's for our folders. That's our check folders and whatever else they want to fold to machines.
Folding machine.
Folding
not
machine.
Folders.
Yeah,
Folding
yeah, folding
machine.
machines.
Mhm.
It's a shtick. What's the application then?
All of our accounts payable checks, payroll checks,
And
W-2s.
downstairs- Yeah, there's one downstairs the tax office uses to fold letters going out to the residents or whoever. Squarespace. That's where are we using that?
Apparently no more.
So that's Sectigo.
Oh, Sectigo, sorry.
Oh yeah, that's what's up.
Squarespace is for the
The credit card, right?
credit card. Yeah.
Sectigo was
There's a question.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, just wondering, sorry, no, it's such a.
Okay.
No, just wondering who uses it.
We
But it's
we
very small.
used it over the big event that Parks and Rec did for Strings and Wings. I don't know if I'm saying that right. On the green, and they were able to take credit cards with their phone. We are going to use it up at the Brush and Leaf site, hopefully in the very near future.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so you pop it in your phone.
Yeah,
You don't
You've
even,
probably seen them somewhere.
yeah.
So you don't have to have internet access
right, I know.
at the stump dump.
Yeah.
We can use, that, it's a different application so that we can utilize a point of sale system without having internet at that location.
All right, thank you.
I have a question about that. Do we have internet? access at the transfer station as an example? Like, would
Not
you be able to
hardwired.
save some money?
At the transfer station, we
There you
do.
go,
We
transfer
do.
station, yeah.
So if you got this system, is there savings on the other side where you say, okay, we don't even need this internet
No,
access points at the,
They still need that.
They would have to use their cell
Cell phone.
phones.
Personal cell phones.
Yeah,
Because
and-
we don't issue cell phones to them. If they need to use their cell phone to complete their work, we're gonna pay for it.
okay, so do they collect the payments using the internet connection that's there already?
Yeah.
Yes.
The waste transfer station, yes, they have
So
a,
maybe
they have a
they
credit
don't
card
use-
machine there.
Maybe they don't need Square.
I think sometimes when they walk to
They're
the
not-
But
scale,
that's not the stuff, that's not that, it's other applications.
yeah, like the park and rec, yeah.
This-
Okay, I mean, it's such a small amount of money.
Yeah.
It
It's
is.
just
It
it's
is,
worth having that.
it is a worthwhile application for what we're using it
Okay.
for the cost.
All right.
I agree with that. I didn't understand the usage. Okay.
Oh, okay. Set Go is getting removed. That's for our certificate for our webmail, which we don't need anymore because we're on Office 365. They supply all that.
I think we'll move to Microsoft 365. I mean, if you have any
Yeah.
questions on some of these that aren't changing,
I was gonna
very
just
small,
say
we'll
that.
gladly answer it, but I don't think we need to step through every single one unless you have specific questions. Microsoft 365 is a
That's the big
big
one.
new
So
one. I think we need to talk more about that.
last year, we put in capital. We did the migration. We are on that now. That's basically all licensing. And that had to get switched because now Microsoft is saying you can't have an on-premise mail server. We're not going to give you any more security updates. You can't support it. You have to do this or figure out something else. So with the tier we bought gives us Teams, gives us Word, Excel, Outlook. Users can go and log on to Office 365 online and get their webmail from anywhere. And like I said, the terabyte storage for each user. I believe we've put in for 250 users, which includes the police department, all town, not fire.
Is that a break point, 250, where you gotta be?
Yeah, I think we might be a little bit less. A bunch of those users, or could be everyone here has a town email, but they're not really working in here.
That is obviously not is that an enterprise license or not?
It's an enterprise license,
Enterprise Act.
and you got to go up a tier in order to get Teams added on there. I am probably missing a bunch of other apps that could be used, but there's a lot involved in it.
Once we get past the full rollout,
Yeah, we could go through the whole list of what's included.
I'm going to divert the conversation for a quick second.
Mhm.
Where are the corresponding reductions in fees, or is this a net number, the difference between what we were paying Microsoft and what we're paying them now? And
We were never paying Microsoft anything.
where were we buying the licenses from?
Oh, for the licensing for our mail server here, we were going through Connecticut Com. And I could probably look that up to see what we were paying before.
Because we're not paying it any longer.
No.
Reduction.
So, yeah, so I don't see that coming off of any expense that we have. Then I think we need to identify some of the other
I think,
other soft costs.
yeah,
Associated with storage and all the other things that we
Yeah.
did to manage that on-prem delivery of those kind of services versus the Office 365.
So
There should be some corresponding.
yeah, I don't have it that in
that was,
here.
I had that question down already, but, Connecticut Comp Service Master Agreement,
Right.
that's where the reduction would have to come, that's where the licenses are being paid for right now.
And we are still technically paying that because after July, we were still using it.
Right.
So I will ask Connecticut Comp for a new, what is it going to be next year? Without that in there.
Right, so we should see.
So that 34,700, that should go down, yes.
Significant
Pretty good amount, yeah.
That helps absorb the 58,000.
Correct. We'll get back to
Thanks for
that.
putting that.
We need to see that.
Yeah, thanks for
And
getting that.
I also need to understand, and again, maybe not for this process, but the other areas where we're going to see some savings as a result of the migration, because there are other things that we're paying
That we could go, yeah.
go away, right?
Like, we're not gonna be buying as many servers, right? I mean, the next time we need a capital investment, the servers that we have are gonna die out, but we're gonna be on Microsoft's
For
web.
servers, we have physical hardware servers at Public Works, Social Services, and Park and Rec. And that's it. That's it. Everything else is virtual.
Virtual machines.
Which there's no cost for that.
But what's the cost?
Beyond the
Well, there's a
Microsoft
cost.
license.
You pay like a core cost and you could add whatever. Yeah, there's no licensing on it. When you put a server in place virtually, there's not a license for Microsoft that you have to buy.
Paying it through.
You're paying it through, we use VMware. Yeah.
Okay,
All right,
yeah, I think
we're done?
the rest of it looks pretty.
Yeah, there's no change in the other line items
Not really.
unless
no.
anybody has any specific questions.
I was curious, what is the software enhancement in the computer software? You might have hit it, but I might have missed it.
It's just something that might come up,
Oh,
changes
yeah,
to.
that's all that is.
Yeah.
If say, maybe, Darlene wants to get a smart
Like a little
sheet
reserve
user or something
software
like that.
Changes along the road.
Correct.
Yeah.
Did you guys do that last year? Or
Yeah, we had 1,500 in there.
did you go
Yeah, that,
through it?
I don't know specifically that line item, but Smart Sheets, like we talked about, Darlene's at $700. We did start that mid-year. I mean, for $700, I just approved that. It would have come out of that line item.
Okay. Can you entertain a comment here? Or
Sure.
you got a little time? So, just going through this I thought was excellent, just going through each one and having at least a small, high-level discussion on, do we need this? Can we replace it? But, from my viewpoint, I don't actually do this at my company, but there's someone who's sort of really actively and aggressively doing this. And they're going through the lists of our software programs and they're saying, do we really need these? Are these adding value? And then even when we have some, if they are adding value and the vendors are giving us large increases, way beyond inflation, they start shopping.
Oh,
And I
do that.
And I'm just wondering if I thought that would be a continuing process for you, keep you busy, right? And it's not easy.
I do that, and then I have in my head that I think, like you were saying, a user gets used to a specific program, and I got to give them a good if you're talking thousands of dollars, I'm gonna just say, yeah, we gotta change it up.
Get over it.
Yeah, get over it pretty much.
So I do a license.
Yeah.
And I am, with the limited knowledge that I have in IT, I've spent a considerable portion of my time in IT. I'm his worst enemy. Worst nightmare, because I'm always sending stuff, let's look at this as an alternative to what we're doing.
Yeah.
Let's look at this. 90% of the time he says, I'll go look at it. The other time he says, oh no, I talked to somebody in North Haven. They use.
I do reach out to various people.
Yeah.
Yes.
They do a lot.
And it can be very difficult to change. So there's a million considerations there, especially if it's
Right, like me saying
widely
about the
used,
teams.
Right. And
interfaces with other systems. Or,
let me, one of the things I think we all need to understand is, and Tony and I were talking about this just the other day. This is a very small IT shop. We don't have a division of labor. In most decent IT shops, you got belt and suspenders guys, you got network guys, you got hardware guys, you've got application people. They do it all. So it's with
It's getting a lot. It's getting
limited
busy.
limited staff of 2, and you're supporting 100 and some odd, and it's a pretty busy shop, and we've done well not to have to add to that shop over time.
And we can,
I think you heard yesterday that the PD and the fire department are looking at contracted services to add to the single resource they have over there for public safety IT services. As some folks may recall, we added staff to full-time staff when we brought Jay Leatherman on. Yeah,
So they're gonna look someone else.
so they're looking for some contracted services to support him as opposed to bringing on another resource. So the demands on the IT side continue to grow, and I think we've done a pretty good job of managing the growth in terms of personnel.
I'd just like to add, overall, I mean, we can, some of these small ones are the ones we can nitpick and talk about, but the majority of the budget is our financial software, the new licensing software, assessor software, town clerk software, tax collector software. We are not shopping these out. We are not changing these.
Those, yeah.
Core
and that-
systems are
and those are the majority of the software costs. Yes, we're always looking at these little ones like Tony's was saying, you know, like with Zoom, like he said, we can maybe get rid of this because of that. So, but the core of
The
what
big ones,
we do as a municipality, we're really not shopping those out.
Okay. But, you can see support for licensing and software here, going up
For sure.
34% is
That's the Microsoft, that's the Microsoft thing.
That's all the
Couple things.
Microsoft 365.
pretty significant cost though.
Yeah, and we're going to see a rather significant decrease in that bucket as well. The Connecticut Comp Services.
Okay.
We'll see. I know we should, but I don't want to promise too much.
I'm gonna email them after.
Yep.
When I get back to my office, I wanna see.
Hopefully, the majority of that is the licensing, but.
Yep. And I just want to add, I think, First Selectman's comments were really a tribute to what you're doing alone.
Yes, thank you.
With some help now finally, right? But
Yes, Jeremy's
Small staff.
very good.
Quick question.
Oh.
The golf people yesterday told us that they're looking at a barcoding system for a couple $1,000s to use, I think, instead of what they're doing through the rec track. And it looks like you're not familiar with that.
I have it in my notes.
Okay,
Like I
all
said
right.
yesterday, I was gonna, yeah.
Yeah.
Utilize it effectively and if that makes sense.
Just haven't had an opportunity from yesterday to have that conversation, but yes, that's in my notes to have that come through IT.
I had a follow-up question. I'm going to reach out to the commission on. Was that in replacement of rec track?
No.
Or is
No.
it an inventory management system for
Inventory? Oh.
for Gatorade golf balls, golf clubs?
Dan and.
Well, I think I'm not advocating it or not advocating it, but it's so that they can say, okay, Matt Hoey's been here, how many times whether they need that or not. But yes,
I don't know if that's public information. Not
but
I didn't seem to have enough bang for the buck.
They don't do it by drone.
And they couldn't explain it well enough
Right.
to tell me.
No.
That's for sure.
No. Learn it, use it. and-
Yeah, I had that note to have that come through IT,
Okay.
but it just
I'd ask well.
we haven't had the opportunity to have any conversation since yesterday, so.
Good job. Thank you.
All right.
Tony.
Thanks, John. You're welcome.
Oh. There you go. Not yet.
Oh.
What do you got? What do you got for it?
You want the-
explanation of.
Oh, thank you, Becky.
Good.
Thank you so much.
It's aerial imagery.
And you're using it now.
We are.
And
Peter has
Peter signed off on it?
reviewed it. He has the terms at least
Good.
and had them change the contract.
What does that mean?
This is fabulous. That is downstream.
In the month that we had it for a trial period, Jen, my assistant, added $300,000 worth of assessment.
Love it.
Every department can use it. I think engineering might find it helpful with the map layering, elevations,
Can you-
different things.
I'm sorry, sometimes I just miss a word or two, but you said this is leading to higher assessments because you can see that.
$300,000 worth of assessed value, because we can find things that we can't, some areas we can't go in and see, no trespassing, we have no access to it.
Okay, because
We can see
I love
tax
cost
bills.
benefits stuff, right? So then
Over the
obviously
month.
we can tax that assessment
Correct,
and then that leads to some positive revenue for the town.
correct.
How does that compare with the cost of the software? Just kind of curious.
That 1 month, we made up for the cost of the software, I believe. It's the cost benefit analysis over a year is, we find so much extra where properties that we can't access by the water. We can see what's going on with that. It helps in court cases where we can see, we have a court case where we we're not allowed on the property. We can see that through the aerial imagery and, you know.
Okay, sorry, I
Bolster our
couldn't help
case.
asking, but let me let you
Nope.
explain
Right,
that
and-
question.
and the
we can
cost
see-
benefit analysis is in perpetuity. It's not against 1 year. It's every
Then it'll
year
continue,
thereafter.
Probably have a little bit of declining benefits. You probably catch a lot of
You could
stuff that's
also,
not right in
Well,
the
it's
first
also
pass, right?
coming to, where they'll be able to digitally check a property and compare it to last year and just see what's new without us going through it and checking it. So if a patio has been added and it wasn't here last year, they say, what's that? If we didn't get the permit, it's unpermitted work, which happens a lot. We have 1,000, as the building department said, new permits this year, 1,000 extra. So between our field work and this, that's where we're adding value to the grand list in a non-revaluation year.
Great. Thank you. We'll see you in a little while.
Thanks.
See you back in a little while. You ready, Rob?
We were running ahead, no.
Notice the, yeah, it's.
Morning, Rob.
Good morning. So it's pretty straightforward, but there's a couple things I want to note. I am asking for a $13,000, $960 in increases. But the point I want to make is a lot of that is actually just catching up to the present. You know, there was a little miscommunication between Mary Jane and I about the insurance last year. So the $5,817 increase in our insurance line is just getting us to now, not a future increase. That should have been in last year's budget. It wasn't. I apologize for that miscommunication. But so that's already where we are now. That's not based on an increase. And then the other increase that happened is the phone. I had asked for a capital improvement last year, and then I also had a corresponding increase that I requested in the operating budget. When cuts were asked of us during the budget process, I removed that phone upgrade, thinking I could stretch it out for another year. Unfortunately, the phones then failed in October all the way, and we had to do kind of an immediate upgrade. So that increase, the phone line is just getting us to where we are now. It's not an actual increase that we're planning on doing.
Which line is?
Oh.
Electronic? No.
Yeah, well, it's all under maintenance.
Building maintenance.
So the two things that are driving this maintenance operations are an increase to insurance and an increase to the phone system, which are spelled out in the narrative under the disbursements. So again, the majority of this increase is just catching up to the reality of today, not asking for future increases.
So if the phones hadn't failed, you were looking to do it as a capital request in this fiscal?
Well, but my plan was to encumber the capital money into next year, ask for it now in this form, and then hopefully get that and then do the project next year. But the phones just didn't make it. They were 16 years old and they started to feel a little bit like a little crackling noise. I thought, well, we can live with that. And then they finally we started dropping calls in late October, early November. So I was able to get the project completed in early December. So now we're up to a nice modern voice over the internet system, which is we got along with a very, very cheap phone bill for a long, long time. And it's finally
I'm just curious, I'm sorry, there's a big, almost a town-wide phone project that's
Right.
going on. Is this
No, these guys will be separate.
different?
yeah, this was
Effort.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Remember, there's a pretty unique, and we can explain to you at some point, pretty unique relationship between the library and the town. It is not like in most town departments.
Yeah.
They
Only partially financed, right?
Exactly.
yeah, it's 35.
Friends in the library helping out quite a bit, right?
The friends, but more important, the friends are hugely important. They contribute $78,000. But the Guilford Library Association, who the whole partnership with the library in the town began in 1933, they contribute 35.7% of the operating budgets. And that has been increasing significantly because the invested funds have been performing so well in the market.
Oh, great.
So now this year, with the 5% extraction that we typically do, 5% from the main endowment and 4% from a couple of smaller funds, we're up to $83,646 that the Guilford Library Association is directly contributing to invested funds. That's the highest by far that it's ever been. So there's more increases, but I'm not asking the town for that. Now what I do, and I just feel duty bound to do this, and every year I do this, it's sort of
is the one thing I can take away, is a $5,000 increase to the book budget. And again, I just like to give some historical context to this. This is just trying to get us halfway to where we were 15 years ago. This is not really like, so in 2007, 2008, we had a $22,500 book budget for the town's portion. We had a choice during the Great Recession to either do layoffs or cut something else. Sandy, I think, made the wise choice to cut something else, and that was the book budget. So we sliced that down. Now, we were having record Friends of the Library book sales. The Guilford Library Association was pouring well, so we were able to live with that. And we still are. But again, just trying to run a library, thinking, what if there was a hurricane during the book sale weekend? And what if the stock market started, a lot of what ifs in my head make me think I should try to get a little more book money just built into the budget.
You see that on our side? I'm just looking at
on
the
the-
line item.
Yeah,
Yeah, if there's library books,
5,000 to 10,000 is what I'm asking.
under library books,
Okay, sorry.
see 5 to 10.
Is that all just physical books or does that include
Okay, got
electronic?
Electronic materials is a separate line for 22,500, because we've seen a huge electronic circulation now. Comprom is about 33% of all our circulation now. It's hugely popular in Guilford.
That's almost the only.
Yeah, it's way more than that. Yeah, that's the town's portion.
So there's, like you said, there's more increases than what we're seeing here. This is
Yes,
what you're
yes,
asking for.
yeah. I try to present the whole picture because our operating budget is,
It's helpful.
yeah, it is, yeah. I don't include the Friends directly into this because the Friends are a separate organization whose mission is to support the library. But again, it's not,
Yep.
it doesn't go into the town's budget.
Just curious about the phones. That's not a capital project?
The upgrade was a capital project. The increase in the monthly bill that accompanies that
Oh, that's what we're
that's what
seeing.
I'm asking for
Right.
here. Yeah. Now we are keeping 2 of the old phone lines for the fax, and just having been through a couple of hurricanes, I think just having one hard phone line that's just going to work no matter what happens is just a good thing to have in a place of information. So
That represents a pure increase. There isn't an offset from the old phone system, or it's just.
The original phone system, we were getting at a bargain.
an amazing part. Yeah.
It was a bargain.
Yeah.
So, this
Yeah.
is true cost for today's world.
I knew that wouldn't last forever, but we stretched it out as long as we could. I probably should have those 5 years ago. The phones were not ideal, but I would replace 1 or 2 a year and we kind of muddle along. But it was time to just finally do it. And I thought I could do it 1 more year, but as I mentioned, the system just broke down completely in November.
Understood.
So that's essentially what the increases are. I'd like to just, as always, thank the Friends for the $78,000 they're contributing to our budget this year, and the Guilford Library Association for the $145,596 they plan to contribute next year. Now that also includes their annual appeal and a couple of other externally managed funds. The Guilford Foundation manages 2 smaller funds that are for specific purposes, programming wise. And the state of Connecticut, we do get a stipend for participating in the statewide delivery service. It's just that that's so uncertain that I always just put that into 0. But again, we'll get something and that will offset some of these costs as well. And I just always like to mention, we never asked the town for any programming funds, but we are one of the most popular programming libraries in the state. I brought along our teen librarian, Emma Barnes. Out of 168 libraries in the state, we ranked 7th in terms of teen program attendance. And that is largely thanks to the efforts of Emma. And then just a quick shout out, because of the salary improvements that have happened over the recent years, we were able to get Emma in the first place during a time when both Branford and Madison were hiring teen librarians. We got the best one. And that was very new. That was not a thing that existed most of my career here. And then now we are competitive, and that's fantastic. So I thank everyone for their efforts in this salary adjustment.
Rob, it's no secret that you are one of the best libraries in the state of Connecticut. The numbers that you provide during budget season, the data substantiates that in terms of the service delivery measurements. So continue to do a great job.
Here.
Anything else? Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot.
We're back on, huh?
There we go, EDC.
Thanks, Rob. Thank you. And thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Teen department.
Wake up, John.
Sorry.
We're finally to you. No, just kidding. I'm just.
I just have a question before we talk about my budget is, does the golf inventory system track your performance on it?
Well, remember, it's garbage in, garbage out. I play with some guys that take them all, you know.
Never miss.
Not you.
Never miss.
Yeah,
Everything's perfect.
in my case, it'd definitely be garbage in. Yeah, I hand out hockey helmets. The economic development, there's no ask and increase, this year, flat, from the previous year,
$5.
$75.
The board and commission secretary, okay,
Oh,
so
okay.
the salary line, based on that, yeah, so that's all, that's the only thing, so I didn't realize it was that, yep.
So other than salary, most of the spend here goes towards, business development, dues, subscriptions, event promotion. Things like, this year we have coming up the 250th celebration. We're gonna spend a little bit on that and help the town promote.
Is that sort of every town doing their own thing? Is there regional coordination?
There's,
That's my first part. That's a good question.
Every town's got to do their own.
yeah, well, it's kind of, Lou, I just, kind of put my toe in it this past week and, kind of find out there is a state, organization, site that, there's recommendations, guidance. Madison's doing, they're ahead of the curve on us on this, they're doing the fireworks right around the 4th. They're doing their anniversary celebration at 230 something years right around that time too. So we have a committee that's forming, coming together within the next 9 weeks. We'll get it together.
Cool.
So I also reached out to National Guard to see if we can get a flyer.
Yeah, that will, fine. That is always fun. Yeah, we have half a dozen folks who in the fall, we have identified that went out to the market, so to speak, and put the word out that we were looking for folks who would be interested. I think we have half a dozen.
Half a dozen in Shoreline Chamber, Rachel and Dawn from Madison Chamber will be part of it.
Great thing.
No, I'm just curious, so you just jumping into this position recently or?
A year and 4 months, but
Okay, I'm sorry.
But it's nothing.
I actually thought this one was empty for a while, but I just wasn't keeping track of it. But curious, what kind of economic development is sort of in the hopper that we're thinking about or,
yeah, we're
working on?
thinking of, well, I actually just came from a merchants meeting. We're setting up the calendar of events for the year. So different shopping events, different eating events. We're talking about a restaurant week, talking about pizza war, talking about vendor. There we go. We're becoming a pizza capital of the state. And so things along those lines and helping the sport park and rec events as well.
Okay,
So
yes,
kind of
local
merchant
businesses, stuff like that.
I don't know if you had a chance to experience the Fan Fest festival that came to the Green back in October, and they wish to return this year. I'll bring that to the board in the coming weeks. But that event brought 800 attendees to town who stayed predominantly in town or in the area, Airbnb or hotels. Came to the event, shopped, ate in town. The merchants just loved it.
Great.
So those types of things we'd like to see more of. Obviously has some restrictions, but there's also the fair fest, so we'll see.
Extremely.
What are the other
narrative?
One thing that has become apparent to me over the years I've been doing this stuff is the economic development role is as much, if not more, focused on supporting our existing base.
Yeah.
John, yes, it's retention, but John has also done some things. How long we've been working on those two Sullivan properties, right? Talking to potential developers about those. There isn't a significant amount of opportunity for new business to come in, large new businesses to come in because of the infrastructure. We don't have sewers and we don't have water available everywhere. And there also aren't a lot of commercial properties, zone commercial properties available. So quite honestly, what the project that's going on at Guilford Village West it will be the most significant development project in the history of the town, including building a new high school. It's just going to be significantly more impactful. So there'll be a role for John through that process.
Yeah, part of my role also, I bring developers and property owners together. It's happened a few times over this past year to talk about is there potential for housing, And we always talk about affordable housing in that discussion, and, you know, unfortunately, those discussions haven't gone anywhere because, you know, the property owner's price is too high, so, you know, there's also that aspect of my role.
Great. Any other
Thank you.
questions? Thanks, sir.
All right, thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
To the break.
Very good.
Hi, good morning.
Good. 5-minute break?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're taking a 5-minute break.
Oh,
so
okay,
have a
so I
seat.
could breathe.
Back on? Thank you.
You're done. Come on, everyone.
Good morning. Want to talk a little bit about your budget?
Yeah, our salaries went up. Good thing, I think. And then and the big item is I'm asking for improvements to be made to the tax office. So we it's an insert that will go in the holes. So we have a hard time hearing the taxpayers when they're talking to us, and the validators are going and the phones are ringing. And then also I am asking for 2 new validators.
Okay.
They're thermal. We have one that we have a separate terminal just for when the mail is overflow and when we're doing water main billing.
All right. So the first thing you talked about, that a capital expense or Jay?
Well, how much it's, I think it's a small amount.
Yeah, it's just an increase.
Yeah,
in that- in
it
that
doesn't,
item.
yeah, it doesn't reach our threshold for
Okay.
capital.
It's under office supplies,
Yes,
the 2,500?
Yeah.
yeah, yep.
Should that be in building? I mean, not building, but town properties? Okay. All right.
I mean,
Yeah.
we can, we're talking small dollars here, whether, you know,
All right.
we can move it if you wanted to.
Printing went up, but that's the quotes I get from Quality. They print all of our bills and our mailing also.
So the software licensing is all in Tony's budget, and then the tax collection pays for the supplies.
Printing materials.
Correct.
Off the charts, crazy.
Really?
So,
Letterhead is close to double.
silly question. So printing shows it went down, but that's because of the software?
Up.
Printing's up,
Wait a minute, am I looking at the right one?
Advertising went down.
went down.
Are you on the wrong line?
Maybe the line below you were looking at?
That'd be nice if it was that, right?
Good question though, Mike.
I'm sorry.
Okay, no, you're good.
I see the printing go up, and this is kind of a general question on many departments. Are we
Yeah.
reshopping that or looking at?
This is a cost to print our tax bills.
Yeah.
That
So
quality
probably-
data, it's all done through quality data. It's all done through that software. We can't use quality data software and shop out our printing.
And they do the mailing for.
Yeah, it's
for
all
us.
included. So postage goes up, that goes up on our end as well, so.
Quality data bills are printing for like a lot of things, and
No, for tax bills.
Just tax
tax
bills,
bills.
yep.
so there's no reshop in that service, or I just, see these increases that are so far beyond inflation. And I think, well, how do you fight back sometimes? You say, go to somebody else.
They have our file, so it just makes it
Quality data
Yeah.
is used by,
every town.
I was gonna say, 99% of the towns, in the state. They're the top tax collection software system.
And
Um,
all these software companies know it.
Yep.
I mean, in the private business, the software we use, I'm not gonna go into it, but the increases we're seeing, it's like operationally, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's 10, 12, 15% on increases in software, and we're using software that's, $40,000 a year on a private business. And what do? You can't change software you've been using for 20 years.
It makes you more productive. I mean, you're stuck with it.
Yeah, but then you're stuck with the increases when they come up, because what are you gonna do? Go to a cheaper platform when you haven't ever used it? Now you're talking about education, training, and inefficiency, and all that other stuff. So, Jonathan, I get it. I commiserate with you.
Yeah, and I agree with you.
I don't know.
It's not easy to switch sometimes,
But just to say, you know what, we're not gonna pay it anymore is
Oh,
unfortunately
you
not
can't do
an
that
option.
either. No,
Unfortunately, not an option.
There really is nobody else.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
Crazy.
really the only
And
show.
the tax office not only does our regular tax billings, they do all the billings for, the water main project. That's separate bills twice a year. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot in that number. You know, the more different properties we have, subdivisions and, you know what I mean? It just increases not only the work, but also the tax bills, the printing, you know, all of that. So cost of the tax collector doing business.
And not to be a wise guy, but we talked earlier about the return on investment, right? The cost benefit analysis. What? Printing $11,500. How much do we bring in taxes? 125 million.
Right.
Oh, as opposed to skipping, collecting the tax, oh, I see. Yeah.
We won't print them anymore.
Unthinkable.
Even if we went to another vendor, it would slow down the process. I
Right.
mean, everything is right in house. They get them out as
Okay.
quick as they get
At
filed.
least it
so-
works well from that perspective.
And we're probably saving $11,000 worth of time
Mhm.
to have people come stuff envelopes, get them ready to go, do, you know, back when we used to do
Oh, I
all
was-
of that.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
wasn't thinking of a man.
We have a line of people at the stamping machine every day from 4 o'clock to 4:45, folding letters and getting them stamped and getting them in the basket. And that's probably not the volume, like even close,
Right,
but it's
yeah.
still a lot. We send out a lot more
Right, 'cause
than
we used to
other
do-
businesses.
We
used
did
to
that
do
for
all-
days.
Yeah, we used to do that all in-house. It was more cost effective to send it to Quality Data, to do it, so.
The real point is, at some point, the next time somebody complains about antitrust enforcement, this is the kind of example that is exactly what people are talking about. If somebody has monopoly power, they're not afraid to exercise it, and they just will.
And isn't there a lot of that in the municipal segment of our economy?
There's a lot of it in the software business. I mean, these companies are just conglomerating.
How about fire engines?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we heard that.
Yeah.
We heard that. They're down to
They're
just two
looking at
or three.
that, they're looking at that federally.
It's an interesting.
You know, the,
Sorry, but such a broader.
No,
Well, but it highlights
thought.
it highlights it perfectly. Example.
You had your I got a question face on.
Not really. And when we ask that kind of question, and you know, it's been Jonathan over the past couple of days, which I appreciate, but it's really hard to always hear the answer. There's no one else who does it. Or when we have the request to waive the bidding process and we hear it's a sole source supplier. I mean, we have to at least be asking the questions.
Yeah.
And I think you're
yeah,
probably,
okay.
you're probably always asking yourselves the question because you're aware of what's happening in your business.
Right.
But it's good to go through the
We're all on the same, as
For
long as
sure.
we're on the same page.
Yeah.
That's the important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we just gotta get the public on the
Yeah.
same page, and make sure they understand
That
the
it's
same.
happening. Mhm.
and the other thing, the overlay on this too is, you know, it never hurts to do business with the best of breed. And QDS has a reputation of being the best
Right.
among the very few who actually offer this service. And it's a cradle to grave service because they take our files and they actually mail the tax bills to our as opposed to a disjointed effort or doing it ourselves.
That's what I said, yep.
I think at one time they would deliver the bills to us. We would stuff them until we had an outside service that came and picked up the bills, stuffed them and mailed them, but then you had that lag time. And we just try to get them out as fast as we can.
All right, any other questions for Doug? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
They're moving along at that village rest. Moving some dirt across from the entrance to the rock
I
pile.
have to go back over there later.
Village West.
I mean, first they moved an entire bridge of stone that they crushed and sell, which is fascinating to me. And now they're moving the outside of it. Dirt, gravel, whatever. It's really opening up some space.
Find it.
Oh, you want me to, I should have asked John this when he was here. You know, took a while to get the.
That him?
That,
Yeah, about some of the restaurants coming in and drive-throughs. Do we now?
Couldn't find you.
You guys ready for me?
Yes.
Awesome.
Where to start?
Hey there.
Possibly all these for
Hey, man.
grocery store.
Oh.
We can have John.
Paul, if you can hear me, you're gonna be after Todd.
Not. Right.
Right.
One of them, the order has to do by email or phone. Pick a things.
Oh, I'm sorry, wrong page. Sorry.
That's the model.
Hello.
There we go. All right, we're going to town properties. And we got Todd Rake pinch hitting for Steve Nidoff, who is under the weather.
Absolutely. So,
All right.
hello, everyone.
Good morning, Todd.
So I just wanted, like you said, Steve Nydorf and I have been reviewing the operating budget for weeks. Unfortunately, he's not feeling well, so here I am. So just like to start by saying the town properties general fund operating budget for fiscal year 2026-2027 is roughly $1.3 million. The fund includes 16 budget categories, with fire hydrant rental representing an expense of $670,000, reflecting increased costs, new developments, and expanded water lines. Over the past year, the department maintained and cleaned major town facilities, including Town Hall South, Youth and Family Services, Public Works, the Food Bank, and Social Services. Responsibilities have expanded to include Town Hall North and the Outdoor Education Center, contributing to the proposed budget increases. In particular, the Lathrop House, or what we now call Town Hall North, underwent renovation and now houses the engineering department and economic development. When additional organizations start to occupy that building, it will be necessary to have additional daily cleaning of the bathrooms and offices. But we did develop a new program with the town, and that included a 6-hour part-time custodian at Town Hall North through a pilot program called Guilford Pathway to Employment, or what we like to call GP2E. And this is a program in partnership with Lumability, which is the old Sarah organization. It's supported by a job coach. This role provides meaningful employment experience while assisting with daily cleaning needs. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 2 hours a day. It's really helped our department. So the department proposes adding 2 new positions. A day maintenance custodian. What this position would do is enable completion of larger in-house projects, such as re-siding, painting the food bank, and exterior painting at social services. Additionally, we'd like to add a nighttime custodian, allowing for deeper cleaning and improved coverage during staff absences. Sustainability efforts continue with the use of a concentrated cleaning product dispensed through a 4-holder wall-mounted system. What this does is it reduces waste, lowers costs to under 50 cents per bottle. Products are sourced directly from Hilliard, which is a manufacturer, ensuring manufacturing support and local representation. Additionally, we will be working with our building automation system partner, Train, on a program to reduce utility costs through advanced planning and scheduling. So at this time, does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I do, Max.
Yes.
I'm sorry if you described this, but the utility jump is gotta be a combination of things, right? Can you just elaborate that a little bit more?
Late about 31.
Correct.
Yeah, so the school's now not spending that. That's a drop in their numbers.
Exactly.
But is that primarily it?
That's a big cost driver. So so as we know, the Lathrop House was built in 1822, historic building. The heating system that's in there really needs to have an upgrade, which will be a capital improvement project. And so every 7 to 10 days, they're getting an oil delivery.
Oh, boy.
Because of the zones. Yeah. And so in our capital budgeting, we did propose putting in a new system there, but I think that's phase 2, phase 3. So it's something that we have to talk about.
In insulation, what's the situation
That
with
would be
that?
my question.
So
Something like that's a challenge.
very much of a challenge. Windows, the windows need to be upgraded. But I think the
Get
big
back
thing
to the
is
school.
exactly.
Keep in mind, the school didn't keep up.
Yeah, that's why we have to do it.
And so what we've done is we've done a lot of things to just improve it from an electricity standpoint with the new meters and the 3-phase electrical. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but that's where you're going to see, some of those places. And additionally too, utilities are contractual. There's not much you can do about some of those things. But with that being said, that's why we've just recently upgraded our building automation system with new controls, which allows for enhanced communication with our supplier. And so something that used to take a lot with the engineers at the trained building automation system company to evaluate energy usage is much quicker now. They're even using some artificial intelligence to, evaluate energy usage. So like one example might be, let's say you have a Board of Finance meeting up at the community center at 7:30. What it does is through scheduling, it anticipates that there's going to be a meeting there at 7:30 on Monday of the first month.
Turns up the heat.
Yeah. And this is addition to, at the community center, we have sensors that will turn off the system if no one's in the room. But what this does, this goes a step further and says, okay, no one's in the room right now, but in another half an hour, there's always a meeting here on Monday. So we'll turn the system on.
Wow.
It's amazing what it does. And then if, it's incredible the technology that's going on with these systems. But the reason we can do this is some of these improvements we've done in the past.
Just to clarify, what chunk of this $37,000 increase in utilities is because of the Lathrop building, AKA Town North?
I can't answer that.
Okay.
We'll get you that.
Yeah, I can't.
It's a big number, so, obviously, utility costs just keep going up. Are we talking about monopolies again, maybe?
Yep.
And there's a lot of things in that utility line. We pay water bills.
I mean, electricity has always been sort of a regulated monopoly for the most part.
They're responsible for the streetlights, the green, there's a lot of things in that utility
I'm
line.
glad you brought up streetlights, because looking at this budget line for streetlights, it looked like streetlight costs went down.
It did. I'm going to evaluate. Yeah.
And I didn't know how to piece that together either.
You want me to skip to that?
That's good, but why did that go down?
And so, we'll skip. Are we good on the utilities then? You want to skip to,
We'll get more detail.
yeah, on as far as the exact, the 37,000, yeah. So with street lighting, there's two sections to the street lighting. We have street lighting and then we have street lighting maintenance. So the street lighting is contractual, but the street lighting maintenance, which is roughly $12,000, we actually have a new vendor, a local vendor on the shoreline, who's really helped us out to try to keep costs down. Some of that reduction or flat, we like to call it flat. There might see a little bit of reduction, but
So is that what you're seeing in experience? They're just charging you less to maintain the.
they're local.
street
It's
lights?
nice and easy. We can. What happens now is, the residents and different departments, the police, the public works, they'll see that there's a light that's out. They reach out to Steve. He plans it. So that contractor's not going to just come out and do one light. He does 3 or 4 at a time. And, to reduce costs. So, but it's helped. This company that we're working with is very responsive. If there was a major issue, I could call them right now. I have their cell phone. So, which is good.
We're about halfway through that budget right now.
Okay, so you just think that they're doing a better job, or maybe there's just less lights that are getting damaged for a variety of factors?
No, I think they're doing a better job. Yeah.
doing it for less. That's great.
Yeah.
Great vendor.
I mean, that's what we constantly do as far as, we're constantly looking for the best price from our partners.
Okay. Fire hydrants, just maybe a little bit of discussion to refresh my memory. I don't think we have a lot of control over that, but
That is strictly, I call Connecticut Water.
Yeah.
And I do this for them. So I call Connecticut Water. We have 400 hydrants. There's a monthly fee for that. We have 314,511 linear feet of piping. We pay for that as well. So just the hydrants and the piping, we pay over $50,000 a month. On top of that, then, there's adjustments for water infrastructure and conservation. So we pay a little tax, so to speak, kind of like we do on an electricity bill for, and they charge a revenue adjustment, which allows them to recover the difference between actual revenues and what's approved by Pura. So they're able to charge it's 0.036. Yeah, so it's another. So all that together is almost $56,000 a month, and that's based on today's pricing. The water company would not commit to whether or not they were going to have an increase in the coming year.
so did we
Matt.
get?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Did we get an extra fire hydrant, or it just went up 10%? The existing 400.
That's that 400 is exactly where we were a year ago.
And then, but
I'm going up the State Street to the Great Hill, to the housing.
Yeah.
on Long Hill.
No, on.
No, on
Great
Hill
Hill
Village,
Village.
Great Hill Commons.
Hill Housing?
Oh,
No, Great Hill Commons.
Oh, Great Hill Commons.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
went into effect last year.
That was in last
Yeah,
year.
it's like-
Oh, okay, I don't know what. Yeah.
Yeah,
There was a water line they had to run up.
We extended the water line up there, as part of American Rescue.
And there's a new hydrant there.
Yeah, I thought that was this past year.
Could we go back to street lighting, please? I forget. It always seems like just a year ago, but it's longer that the town took over the maintenance of the street lights.
Right.
So the line that says
There's two lines. Yeah.
is that the electricity part of it? I mean,
Yes.
Yes, that's the electrical part, and
Okay.
then the 12,000 is the maintenance.
okay. So we are still saving money from when, because it used to be all handled by, I don't know who handled it. Was it, Eversource handled
Eversource.
the changing of the bulbs and everything?
Yeah.
Before we,
They charge us the fee for the rental of each of those units
right,
for the lease or whatever it was. Right.
And yeah, I know we're beating this to death, but it's an interesting thing. The lights are as efficient as possible. I don't know if LED is the state of the art or whatever it is, but whatever the most efficient option is, as ones go bad, are we slotting in better product?
We had a whole project where we swapped out.
Wasn't that with the
Yeah,
energy and
project
efficiency
review.
project?
Yep.
So that's already happened.
Yes.
And then, the other thing, we do have a storage container down by Public Works. And so what we do is we stock lights. So we have a fairly decent stock level. So if we, 3 or 4 lights need to be changed out, we have those in stock. So we get freight, and when we order them, we hit a certain amount, so we get freight allowance to, further save costs.
Yeah.
But as, if there's any legacy type lights that need to be, then we would obviously change them out, so.
Just going to get back to something that dawned on me, the fire hydrant rental, and again, many years ago, there was someone who served on this board suggested that there ought to be an overlay tax if you had streetlights or fire hydrants, because they're not ubiquitous to every part of town. But imagine, for instance, if we had Connecticut Water throughout town.
Yeah.
How big do you think that fire hydrant rental bill would be? It would be astronomical. So, and that's what a lot of other communities who have city water or those kind of things. So,
Well, and ironically, if you're a homeowner near a fire hydrant, you get a little discount on your
Yeah.
homeowner's insurance. So there's.
The town like I live, you don't.
There's no public.
Or there is no public water,
Matt,
no fire.
Glad you went back to the fire, right? Real quick. The increases that we talk about pretty much every year. What's CCM's and other municipalities take on this? I mean,
Take is that we need to complete the overhaul of Pura. That's been our position for some time. And I think we, as well as I think some of the political leaders, put the pressure on the governor to fully staff and appoint full board of fire of Pura commissioners. So there are now 5. Melissa Gillette, who was the chair, was virtually run out of the state based on her collusion with a couple of the legislative leaders. And as I think there's always a battle between Pure and the regulated monopolies, as Lewis said. And actually, there was a recent court case where the Eversource was vindicated. Some accusations that were made. Pure chair was him. And then there's, of course, the case with acquiring water. I don't know if you're familiar with that, and that's currently in front of the public utilities. It's they are a rate setting body unto themselves by state charter. Decisions are fine.
I knew that was the case, but I thought it was
The rates are not
worth
popular.
raising that as
Been in the process a lot, rightfully so.
Yeah.
And of course, utilities claim that they're being held hostage and not allowed to invest. I'm actually in agreement with the utilities UI and Eversource that the rate structure does not allow for them to adequately prepare for what's happening today and what will happen in terms of the grid modifications. We're going to be in a position we're not going to be able to get enough electricity because they are not being incented or given the opportunity to invest more capital because that would come out of rate payments. Anyway, we don't need to talk about the regulatory.
These are some bigger issues.
They are. Smarter people than I are going to be able to figure them out.
Well, boy, we're working on it.
So,
Don't
Give it
sell
to
yourself
Sean
short.
we'll give it to Sean. Thank you. We'll give it to Sean Scanlon to solve.
There we
He loves taking on big projects. Big thing.
Not going through, or are you still,
You got
I wanted to go back to the positions?
Yeah, I mean, there was repairs and maintenance, that's talks a little bit about that. Maintenance supplies, it talks about the initiative with the cost savings with the concentrated product. Vehicles, as far as vehicles, we added one more vehicle.
I was just gonna ask, how many total is in your department?
There's 5 total. Yep, and we'd like to thank David Castro from Public Works additionally. He was able to find a vehicle on state auction for no cost,
Right.
which was great. And so, all right, so then, your questions about the positions?
If you could just run through quickly the current custodians and where they're deployed and sort of what each of them does. It's just a big increase, asking for 2 more.
I completely understand that, yep. So currently on staff, so Steve Neidorf, he's the facilities manager.
Yep.
Myself, I'm the facilities supervisor.
Yep.
And when we have, then we have 2 maintenance custodians. We have a nighttime custodian. And then we have a part-time custodian who works 24 hours a week. And then just the addition of the other part-time person is 6. So basically 30 hours of.
Can you explain what those custodians do
What building?
and what buildings they might work in? I think that was a specific question.
And so let's start with the nighttime custodian, which we have one of them now. That individual comes in the afternoon, works till 11 o'clock at night.
Is that the Anthony Gargiulo?
That's Andrew, yep.
Andrew Gargiulo?
Yep. And so what he does is he goes to the different properties, like Public Works, Town Hall South, youth and family, social services. He has a schedule that he follows, and he goes and cleans those facilities, vacuums, garbage collection, cleans the bathrooms, make sure all the supplies are filled. And then if he ever needs any, if there's something that's more major, then what he would do is he communicates with me. And then what happens is the daytime custodians, from a daily standpoint, we work, depending on what the project list that Steve and myself put together. It could be anything from painting an office to, obviously the mail. The mail's a big portion that we do. You didn't really, yeah. So in the mail in the morning, our part-time custodian distributes all the mail and processes the mail, stamps it, and then in the afternoon, depending on the schedule, we will alternate who does the mail. But we process the mail and then take it to the post office.
I'll also add that the part-time custodian is our designated depositor at the banks. So deposits come to finance puts them together, another person takes it to the bank. So that there's a lot of checks and balances there. And the part-time custodian does that, part of his responsibilities.
And then, so I oversee the daytime custodians and the nighttime custodians. And then Steve Neidorf and myself, we work on the larger projects, capital improvement projects. And we have a lot of interaction with engineers, contractors, management.
Yep.
To talk about project needs. So for instance, like the Lathrop House in the summer, the two of us were heavily involved with that project, with coordinating electrical and painting contractors and going out to bid. And so when you look at this budget from, from a resource standpoint, it also includes the capital projects too. So I have a call at 11:30 to talk to an engineer and our contractor about the community center project. And so what our goal is, and that's why we were proposing these two positions, is I'll start with the nighttime edition. And so the thought would be to have an extra resource at night to help with some of the deeper cleaning that needs to be done. Because our current individual is more reactive versus proactive. Like if we had an extra person, it'd be great to just shampoo the carpets, have a regular schedule to shampoo the carpets, or a regular schedule to buff out and shine the floors, or the little crevices that occur throughout the day. And
I can tell you that one of the biggest complaints we have from people in our department is that we need more custodial help. That things can't get done through the staffing. I get those complaints just from the finance perspective, that people are like, can't you do something to bring in more custodial staff? So it's not just them coming forward with an ask. I would say it's an ask from everyone.
in addition to that too is with our current staffing level, if our nighttime individual is away on a vacation or a sick day, what happens is we take one of our daytime guys to cover the nighttime project, and that sort of sets us back a little bit. And so it's limiting us a little bit from doing some of these extra little fine-tuned, cleaning type projects. And so then it's the daytime custodian. So that's different tasks for them. Like this summer, we did some demolition work at the Lathrop House, like a lot of it. One of my guys, we removed the siding at the food bank and replaced it with new shingles, and then we actually pulled in a resource from Park and Rec to help paint that building, just because it was it was an individual that had some time off in the summer, so to free up some of my guys, we decided to bring him in and help him out a little bit. So, if we did have more resources, it would help.
And I'll just note that Janice, when she came and gave her presentation, she requested specific custodial money, for that building. So
I think we might want to look at, Janice's model versus taking on somebody full-time. My assumption is the deep cleaning is periodic. It's not going to happen every week at every building. That's just not going to happen. There's not a need for it, quite honestly. So question there is, the utilization of outside contractors or cleaning services, or whoever the police department uses, right?
Yeah.
Look at that as a potential avenue as well. The other thing I just want to talk about briefly is, several years ago, we actually created the position you're currently in, right? Which was a hybrid position. You manage the maintenance custodians, the daytime maintenance custodians, at nighttime, but you also do the work yourself, right?
Correct. Yep.
So we may have created our own problem to some degree, because we now have less people to do the work because we now have more managers, right? So the question there is, 1.5 supervisors for a team of 7 people or 8 people. Is that the right mix? Is that the right measure? And so I think we need to take a more holistic look. I'm not saying that we won't do something along the custodians, but I can pretty much assure you you're not getting 2. So what I want you to think about is, you and Steve, where would you prefer to have a resource if you were to get an additional resource? And does it have to be full-time? We talk about, I see Andrew probably 4 nights a week.
Correct.
In this building.
Yep.
Because I don't usually leave till 6 or so.
Correct.
I usually wind up chatting with them, and yes, he's busy and he's working, and he's got a bunch of buildings to go through. And I with the addition of the Lathrop house, even though we have that 6-hour individual, 6-hour lead, it's not cutting it. I understand that. So I think we need to take a little more holistic look at service delivery in totality.
And one of the other things too is that maybe we sort of piggyback on the model of the community center in the library. Instead of a full-time 40-hour position, we think of a 20-hour or maybe even a 16-hour position.
Agreed.
And then that would
As a starter.
Yeah. And so
See what the impact.
Yeah, and so while we're talking about personnel, I'm going to share something with you all. That sometimes our department is we're helpful to any department that needs help. And so just this morning, the waste transfer station had they're short on manpower. So one of my individuals is currently at the waste transfer station until 1:00 today. And so what he's doing is he's going to be there from 10:30 to 1:00, and he's going to be able to let those individuals there take a lunch and a break. And then he'll take his lunch from 1 to 2. And so I think, from a resource standpoint, a lot of those little things happen throughout a day. And, it's very dynamic. And, the team that we have, a lot of times they just, if someone needs something, they just go do it. And these are the minor things that what it does is it allows Steve and myself to work on the bigger projects, and so.
But I personally think that's kind of great that they will do that.
Yep.
But after hearing comments from Dave in Public Works, should you be able to charge that labor back to the transfer station?
We can talk about that.
That was an interesting question, right? And then I just wanted to make sure I understood. The night custodian is doing the routine cleaning for all the buildings, because the day staff is really, staff is there, so they're outside doing those kind of projects.
He also can't vacuum and clean the bathrooms in the middle of the day.
Right.
That's traditionally an evening the after work hours,
Yeah.
exercise.
So is it one guy over 6 buildings?
Yeah,
5?
5 buildings.
5
Yeah.
buildings?
Yeah.
Okay. Wonder if maybe one of the day guys needs to be more helping at night. I don't know.
Oh, that does happen though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have a list of projects, so if there's something that needs to be done, like we did some painting over at Town Hall South and
Yeah.
cleaning that operation up and,
Okay. And
Yeah,
then
there's-
on a different kind of angle, I agree with the comments you made about maybe span of control. You know, I don't know how wide or deep that is in different departments and areas, but how many managers per how many employees?
Right. Now, refresh my memory, when you came over to take this role and you left the Park and Rec, there was some discussion about you managing those resources as well. Is that ever come to fruition?
we don't have I don't have direct management over those individuals, but, it's sort of a dotted line to me where if they need something, they call me up and,
Okay. But more importantly, if we need something, are we able to call them and say, "Oh,
oh, yeah, we are. So if we needed something, if we needed something like along those lines of, extra resources, like I've thought about that before, as far as could we take an individual that's on a part-time basis from the community center or from the library? But I think the way it's set up is there's not an extra person to, and we understand what their capacity is, so it's really, I can't call them to say, hey, can you come and do this? Because
So, again, I want to look at this holistically as well, right? We got a nighttime custodian at the library. We
Mhm.
have a nighttime custodian at Park and Rec. We have a nighttime custodian here. Is there really enough work for all of them? You got one guy doing 5 buildings.
Yeah.
All right, here. All right, he's full-time. Is the nighttime custodian at the library part-time? Full-time. Part-time.
yeah, and so
Same thing at Park and Rec, the community center. Although I know at the community center, that individual also serves as the gatekeeper because it's a publicly accessible building, right?
correct. So, when I worked at the community center, to clean the building, like, and hit on everything, it would take about 5 to 6 hours.
Okay.
And those nighttime custodians, their shift is 6 hours. And so what happens is, it's very difficult. Some people say, well, there's a nighttime custodian at the community center, all he's doing is cleaning. Well, he's not. He's setting up programs, he's moving chairs around, he's making sure that the IT equipment is working.
Every time.
You'll see him.
Always there.
It's just it's really a different animal over there at the community center versus our nighttime individual here, doesn't really have a lot of those types of setups.
Got it.
And even during the day. So the custodian during the day at the community center, he's straight out setting up programs for 100 people and
But
It's not just cleaning,
it's quite honest,
Yeah.
it's more than a maintenance custodian.
Correct.
right? It's
so-
it's not just cleaning bathrooms.
All right, well, I think we have our work cut out to come up with some alternatives.
Can
I
I
mean-
put one more out there?
Sure.
Yeah.
Some of the things we've talked about that really don't seem to be maintenance or custodial, like the daily bank trip, the mail, the coverage for lunches, things like that. If those things were housed in a part-time person, does that free up your people to do some of the projects? Maybe worth thinking about
you
in the big
I think
picture.
the part-time individual, if there was something that we could, it definitely would help. And we actually, this past summer, we actually instituted a program such as that. So, there's a nighttime custodian that's at the community center who's a teacher.
Mhm.
So during the summer, he's always, hey, Todd, I have some availability to do some extra work. And so I was able to talk, through the communication with Pam, I had him help us paint for a week.
Mhm.
And he just fine tune, different things. And the challenge becomes, like the red shack. That needs to be painted. And so, we have a plan to put it, that's gonna be a spring project. But as you can imagine, that's gonna take some scheduling, and when you have 2 or 3 people over on the island, there's still gonna need someone back here. In addition, we also replaced the lights on the green and over on the Water Street. And that's not a quick project either. So those are like more major type projects that happen.
And they're largely one-off, so.
Correct. But it just helps. So having a little extra help would be fantastic. And I think it would give us a little bit of breathing room.
Good.
So,
Anything else?
no, I mean, we're
Thanks, Todd.
yep, we really appreciate it.
Fantastic. Good job filling it.
Thank you very much. Yep.
Thank you.
And just like that, we get behind. See how easy that was? We went from too much time.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, Paula.
No, that's
It was gonna
okay.
be so long. Board of Assessment Appeals is next.
Yeah.
My budget's small, so. Good morning, everyone. I'm Paula Lenihan. I'm presenting the Board of Assessment Appeals budget. This year we had asked for a $305, less than shy of 6% increase from the current budget, only due to the fact that office supplies that are going to be needed for the upcoming reval that's set for this October 1st. We'll always have a lot more accounts that will buy right after a reval, so it's to help for that. Buyers, everything they'll need.
So you guys cover, the secretary position, right?
Yes.
That's in your job description, right? That's-
If I'm the clerk.
Got it. That's pretty self-explanatory. Any other
Everything
questions?
else is remaining the same. I
Same.
mean, thankfully, the
Doesn't
legal
seem like a
fees.
big number to me. but
Yeah, and the legal
Just a
fees
big
haven't
percentage.
gone
Just
up.
need some more office supplies. That was.
Yeah, it's mostly the influx of like files and everything that is stored all correctly from.
Yeah.
What they bring in.
Great.
Thank you.
That-
Perfect.
That was painless.
Thank you for having me.
Are we back on schedule?
Yeah, is he here?
I saw him. Monday, Tom.
Yeah. Thank you. He's here, so Paula just went to get him. Next.
Illegal.
Mr. Legal.
He's coming right now.
Thank you.
And could you send Becky up?
Sure.
Thank you.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Counselor.
You're a little early today.
Right on time. Look at that. 3 minutes. 3 minutes early.
Okay.
My last year's.
It's right here. This is last year. This is what you requested.
You want me to just explain, or you guys ask questions, or how do you want
Why don't you just explain whatever, just the changes thing.
to? Okay, so, I kept it at the same, gross number as last year. We moved some figures around, see what I did.
So the changes.
All right.
So
All right.
general goal first
Right,
one.
so we do have, all right, we'll go to that one first. increased that, I've decreased other line items to make up for that. And there's a couple of reasons. One thing is, I understand folks may be considering charter revision. That is a time eater from the legal side. So some of that I'm gonna be able to accomplish myself. Some I'll need some backup from outside counsel. Not only for drafting, but I've done those in the past, both for Guilford and another municipality. It's good to have more than one set of eyes changing a charter. And I'm also finding that general legal, if I were to go over, for instance, in assessment claims, zoning matters, zoning particular, that's happened in the past, or labor, well, I can use that account. And so one or more of those, a lot of times will go more than I budget for. Labor, I think I increased just a little bit. We do have a couple of contracts, the fire and it might be the general GEA contract. And also I know that Mitch has been talking about updating our personnel manual. Judgments and losses I've kept flat. That is, we have a $10,000 deductible on any claims that come in of any type, really, the town. Sometimes we have a public works truck that backs into a mailbox or little things like that. We can resolve them without going through the whole claim process. A lot of years we don't even touch that. Some years we do. Assessment reval, I was able to reduce this quite a bit because we weren't in a reval year.
Yes, you cut that in half.
Yes, cut that in half. So that expense should go way down. And actually, we're doing very well in that account this year. I'll take some credit for it. I have nothing to do with it. We've been able to settle most of the cases favorably to the town. So what happens is you get competing appraisals a lot of times. Sometimes our own appraiser comes in, we get a new independent appraisal when we go to court. Sometimes they come in and say, well, we're a little low, whatever happens. Or the reverse happens. The other side gets an appraisal closer to our number. So a lot of those were resolved. We have a very good outside counsel that does that from Halloran and Save. I think Becky does a good job. So hopefully that should be enough. But again, if that was to spill over, that would be something we could cover in the general legal line item. Zoning, I bumped up a little bit. That seems to me more contentious every year. I think that'll cover it. I don't know. The good thing, I think I mentioned this last year about this stuff is, either we need the legal work and I have the money to spend for it. If we don't, it's not like I do something else with it. It just doesn't get spent. And, so.
We do have a little bit set aside, carried in force for some issues. So,
I think from last.
So when the times that we didn't use it. So, when we have that overage in legal, we have that backup money. We don't have to come back to the board.
Okay.
For it.
And I think last year even, and maybe the case will be this year, correct me if I'm wrong, but started looking as we got closer to the end of the fiscal year we're in, that I would have a surplus more or less.
Correct, that's where this money is
Carried
from.
All right, so hopefully that'll happen. We'll see. The contracted services is my base hourly, kept that the same. And permits and education and training, these are just member of Connecticut Bar Association, which I get my legal research case maker. It's called, maybe it's Lou, I think it's called something else, but whatever it is, I get my online research through. Any questions?
I guess I have a question. It's really kind of more for Mary Jane. For the assessments, aren't we kind of taking a figure each year that sort of piles up until the assessment?
No, that's to pay for the actual revaluation work itself, for the company to come and do the reval, totally separate from the legal side.
Okay. I'm sorry. All right, then no problem.
I wanted to talk about that. Mary Jane's got a wonderful spreadsheet where we have tracked the assessment reval claims over the years relative to when the reval happened. And typically the first full fiscal year after a reval, that number jumps up to a couple $100,000. And then as you go further out from the effective reval date, the claims go down. The claim funds go down, which is why you see this is the tail end
Right.
of that sliding scale. Anticipated legal fees for reval.
So the next reval, you're gonna see that pop.
Right.
Right, which is why I'm holding the carryover money
Right, for possible.
to mitigate that jump, to mitigate that jump.
Okay. I was thinking of the reval itself, which
Yep,
is like,
you're right, that's
Yeah.
good.
it's similar concept
Right.
there.
Right, these are the appeals from the, so I just confirmed with it, so we have another reval 2026.
We're in
it, we're in it.
But,
Honest.
but to your point, yeah, we're at the tail end of the expenses, like most of them are already resolved.
So we'll see that in the 28 fiscal year, the
Five.
Only
Five
five,
cases.
5 kicking around.
And so, just so everyone understands this, there was some legislation passed a couple of years ago that tried to align regions with common reval years, right? So, which was designed to try to help the limited number of assessment companies that actually work in this field, so they could be concentrated in geographic areas and understand better the impacts in each of those geographic areas, because property values change differently. Carolina, they do in the northeast corner. So our 5-year window was moved to a 4-year for because we did 2022. Now we've got 2026, and we were scheduled for as well. We were one of 3 towns that wound up with that huge compression. So we were effectively doing 3 revals in 9 years as opposed to 3 every, every 5 years. 4 every 5 years, right? So myself, the first selectwoman in Stonington, and the first selectman in Waterford, we appealed to OPM. Legislative pressure, and they moved the last year of that cycle out by 1 more year. So so it's not going to be 2029; it'll be 2030. So we got a little more breathing room to save money to put away for the reval. Now, there are some people who argue we should be doing revals every year because that more accurately reflects the value of people's property as opposed to a snapshot in time every 5 years, but who can afford to do that?
It's already almost
even
fun.
statistical revals take an inordinate amount of time.
Talking almost $500,000
To run it.
to a full reval.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. All right.
Me back.
Thank you, Vicky.
No.
Yes, we did it yesterday
Oh.
with Ann.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks.
You pick green, the color of money.
Gilbert Green.
Oh,
There you
Gilbert.
go. There we go.
Come on, Sandy.
Hard to find exactly.
Yeah.
So you'll see in the packet here our requests for our budget. Mary Jane just let me know that you were maybe gonna look at the part-time employees. Last year it was 10,000, but that was just reduced by the Board of Finance when they asked for a cut.
Yeah.
We had 20 originally requested. We have a decrease.
Before you go too far, I just want to note, this was her original request. It's not what she actually, it's not the numbers
So that
that she
should-
actually got
The
budgeted.
requested base should say 10.
Yeah, should be 10. So prior year's budget, if you look on your spread, come to 235, 237 is your actual budget.
Oh, okay.
So that's what you proposed last year probably, but that's not what you're actually, just want to, before you say this is, it doesn't match.
That's different.
Yeah.
That must have been our original request. I
Yes.
apologize for that. We did reduce a position and dissolve it last year. So we were under 14% of our budget to start. We reduced costs in almost all of the categories last year. You'll see we did reduce in printing. We still reduced in copier services. I did ask for more in professional education as we added affordable housing to our department. And there were several conferences which would have been very helpful as we're expanding this affordable housing program to figure out how to navigate this correctly with all the different types of properties and rental versus ownership, etc. So we missed some this year, but that's why I asked for more in that item. Dues and fees went up for our associations, and everyone is everyone in the office is part of those associations. So, because you need it for certification. The other professional education is for the staff to take their courses to get certified or to keep their certification. You can see that we deal with almost every department in the town. So now my number is off, but for the original request that we had last year, we would have been down 0.3%. We did have some cost containments. We're trying to transition to e-filing to decrease printing costs in that line item. We can't do it immediately because people are still used to the paper. We're trying to, test it and wean everybody off of that. The staff, I have a terrific staff who archived 15,000 of these documents. They're scanning the old documents without outside help so that we have that cost containment. These are the old property record cards. So we don't want to use these. And now we don't have to outsource it. So they've been doing that, which is fantastic. I have a management team with Paula and Jen, and they help me be more efficient. That's why we got to reduce that position. So we got rid of that last year. We also reorganized, so we don't need offsite storage, which we would have to pay for. We don't create as much paper, so we don't have to ship that out. The part-time line item is for our fieldwork person. So that's what we're talking about before, the fieldwork and the near map. We do have somebody who goes out because we can't go out as much because we have 3 people now. But that's to, again, get more assessment dollars, to check the building permits, to see what was actually done on the property. A lot of times they'll put something on the permit and they will have done a great deal more than they put on the permit or something different, or so getting your eyes on it, or you pick up something that we didn't have on the card. So that's a very valuable tool, again, to add in a non-revaluation year. Capital request was for the reval, which we got pushed out to 2030. Any questions?
Negative budget request. So this is a good example, though, this near map, I'm glad you mentioned it. That's a good example of, we have some technology, it's helping fill in for actual people being out on the road. Trying to do this stuff, and it's maybe even more efficient, unless you have an overhead view.
Yes.
Great.
I gotta make sure I understand this. I thought the software would make it so you didn't really have to send someone out to take a look.
Partially.
And then you wouldn't need this extra part-time money.
Interior inspections, and again, you can't, so I heard there was a privacy concern. It's not that detailed. You got to set your eyes on some of these things, but
The near map might generate a list of properties that our person has to go to.
we don't,
Right?
so we don't currently have the mismatch overlay. That is their goal, to get that to compare
So
the town as
check
it was.
how it was.
I
Okay,
think that's up and coming.
and
I
then
think
that
that's-
would drive more visits to go maybe confirm.
Some things we have to
Software
confirm, I
tells
mean,
you.
where some things we're required to measure, like the external dimensions of the house. We can do some with an air match, the distancing tool, like pools or patios, but we still need to have some field work with that. And I also wanted to try and get some personal property audits in with that field work, which requires going to businesses and listing all of their the inside of the business, the, you know, shelving and whatever they have for personal property, because it hasn't been done in quite some time, and I think we could use it.
Okay,
To, again, to verify that we're getting the correct personal property assessments.
the extra 10K for the part-time person is mostly for inspections inside. And maybe you're falling behind on those, or?
Well, we had 1,000 extra permits from the building department, supposedly this year, so we have to check all of those permits also to add value. If we are connected to the building department.
1,000 extra, what was the base?
I'm not
Yeah,
sure what,
plus 1,000.
I think we had 1,500 last year. She said she got in another 1,000.
She's at 1,000 so far this year.
And it's increased. Development in Guilford is still increasing.
Okay,
Other people have flowed but there's just a lot of land and development going on in the town.
and I'm sorry if I missed it, it's been just a little bit of a long morning, but what was the office supplies that you were picking up?
We wanted a map holder, a new map holder, because again, I'm concerned about the, keeping the maps, the archival maps safe and
Talking like
contained.
kind of those big.
The big
for
map,
Big size
The
maps.
big,
yeah.
it's a,
Survey maps.
yeah, I mean, just to preserve the old documentation, and actually I would want something in the basement with the dry sprinkler, so that it's safe. But then we would have one in
case
the
there's a fire,
office, we want to
of
keep,
course.
we want to, that's why we're scanning, kind of preserve the documents that we can't
Okay.
duplicate, you know?
So is that driving the 2,500? You couple
Yeah,
of those
that's it.
cabinets?
Yes,
Okay.
they're not cheap. We tried to find.
Tell Dave to
more.
get that in
More,
No.
we did, no, we looked, I did ask Dave, but it hasn't
Oh,
come
did
up
you?
yet, yeah.
Okay, maybe he
So-
would find one.
We're still looking for a cheaper alternative, but we just thought we would ask.
I was curious about something, this may not be related to your expenses, but when you scan the paper document, did you immediately throw it out once you confirm that you?
No, we're still keeping it. We're still preserving. the
Yeah, that's what I was
document.
afraid of. It's like hard to let go of it, right? You have to scan it. And maybe that's a requirement, I don't know.
Historically, it's nice to keep it. We don't, record retention, it may go after a while, but these are the original cards, so,
Okay,
That's
I mean, I'm sort of
negotiable.
wondering,
That's
when do you just
negotiable.
let go of it if you can by?
it's negotiable. So the
Why?
state library has the record retention schedules, and they have been slow to let go of paper and digitize and allow us just for digital.
But, part of me is like, what's the point of digitizing, if you sort of don't? Well,
We will.
And it makes it easier for people to access.
That too, we want to attach it eventually, which is a project to each property record, so that it's immediately digitally accessible.
oh, okay, so you can visualize it on the
So we can, when
town
you come
website
into
or
the,
quality.
yes. So
quality
you can
website.
pull, yeah,
It's gotta be done sooner or
Quality.
later.
yes, yeah, it's, yeah.
All right, sorry, a little sidetrack there.
No, it's getting, transitioning from paper to electronic is a arduous process,
Yeah,
and it's hard.
We're not creating new ones of those, are we?
No, we are not.
What do we use instead? Is it all electronic?
Yes. That's quality, but we were printing and saving all of the changes, which by the end of the year would be at least one of those WB Mason paper boxes, which we're not doing anymore. We have the digital. So we're not adding to that, and every time we can get rid of one of those, which is 15 years, once you can no longer collect taxes on it, we're getting rid of to create. So
So
we have
that's happening
created,
already,
that was happening. Yes, that's been happening as much as we can.
but maybe at some point you can take your 15 years and be like, we scanned in 5 years.
Every year we're getting rid of the one that can go.
Oh, yeah, I understand that. But isn't the goal to get rid of whole 15 years of paper?
When it's legally allowed.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
I think I checked into this because I'm on the state library
Yes.
board, and I think the state library has these rules, but I believe there's a power that's over them. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't think it's like the
Is it legislative?
state librarian that's making these draconian rules. I will ask again. I think they're following out guidelines that have not been changed,
Okay.
but I'll ask again.
Blame the library, sorry.
what was that?
Blaming the library.
No,
sorry.
because I think
Well, they
it's-
have their rules.
no,
yeah,
I
so
totally
we
think
have
it's
to-
crazy myself, so don't worry.
It just has been slow to change.
I
whoever
complained
is
about
the
it, but I think the last time I asked it was like,
Yeah, yeah.
I always wonder about the consequences of just not doing it. I guess we
I
can't
know,
very
I
well do that.
thought
but,
about
you
that
know,
too, but.
Yeah.
Well, we got an echo.
Oh, we had a what? Oh, we had a
It's
what?
right, it's FOI, yeah.
Yeah.
But we would still have the information, just not in the format of required to. So we have to comply with the FOI. Oh, no.
Yeah. We follow it at the moment because that's our rule.
Pause.
That's right.
But I
Well, we're
Somehow the laws
reducing
haven't
it.
caught up with this. you
Yeah,
know?
yes, it's been
Yeah,
slow.
exactly.
That's what I mean. It's been
Yeah,
slow to
yeah.
catch up with technology.
I'll try to
Right.
have a lot of power.
All right. Peggy, thank you very much. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Aaron, come on in. Selectmen.
And that, I don't know if you needed that little reminder.
Thank you very much.
Pardon my, sorry. Morning, everybody.
Yeah.
So as usual in our department, we've tried to, where we can control costs, we've tried to hold things, stable. I'm sure you noticed expenses and travel went up quite a bit. The last 2 years, the CCM conference has gone up $50 each year per attendee. And so I tried to factor in another increase next year, and also the fact that we have several new board and commission members that might be interested in attending, first timers. So I included that in there. That line also includes things like the first selectman's attendance and awards for residents, the chamber events, that kind of thing. Also conferences that he might attend and related parking and mileage fee. I decreased code maintenance. We hadn't, a lot of that is dependent on ordinance updates, and we haven't had too many in the last few years, but we do have charter revision coming up, so I tried to also take that into consideration, so hopefully that will hold. Permits, dues, and subscriptions increased a bit. COG increased their dues by a couple $100. We also took advantage of a bundling offer that the chamber offered this year. So rather than separate out our membership and then separate fees for every event that the first selectman or someone else might attend, they kind of bundled a package. So we took advantage of that this year. And the package includes 2 attendees. So that it should mean that maybe the economic development budget, John Trudis can also attend with me. Memorial Day, I just have a small bump up because every year the cost for the wreaths and the flags for Memorial Day go up, so I just bumped that up a bit. Miscellaneous, a large part of that, some of the boards and commissions that don't have budgets, like affordable housing this year, they've asked for money for flyers and publications that they'd like to do. We support the Guilford Fair Parade the last several years. We have employee recognition programs and a holiday luncheon for the employees. And also this year, we started a program with Myers Storage thanks to Sam and HR. And they are disposing of shredding for us, and we're also trying to get a lot of records off-site, so that's included in there. I also wanted to say I kept the office supplies level. Darlene's been great in putting us in touch with a couple of other vendors, we're not just married to one vendor anymore, so we can shop price, and that's been really, really helpful. So now I have 3 vendors to choose from. So if I'm buying copy paper, I can check all 3 and say, okay, this week, who's the cheapest?
I'm
So-
so happy to hear that.
Yeah, so
Even
it's
if
been
it's a little
great.
bit of small dollars.
Yeah, no, but it's been very helpful to be able to shop around where before we were just contracted with one, and that's thanks to Darlene. She's done.
Yet another benefit of the new position we have in.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you all.
And the municipal historian asked for an increase in his archival paper. He only asked for the paper every other year, so I put it in because he requested it.
Which line item is that? Sorry.
It's a municipal historian, it's down the bottom.
Towards the bottom,
Okay.
Yeah.
one up from the bottom.
Could you hit on miscellaneous again? It just went by quick. And
So it's, some of the boards and commissions that don't have budgets, the Sustainable Guilford
Yeah,
needed
okay.
publicity
I'm
for
sorry,
their repair
I
cafe.
did get that.
Affordable Housing does flyers, to promote their various events and educate people. Because a lot of that is a public that may not necessarily always be on their devices. So a lot of people still come in and get the hard copy flyers. They want to read they want the actual paper. So it's that. And as I said, Myers Storage is a new vendor that we're working with, but it's helping to clear out town hall and get a lot of paper off site. So
You can set up a system with them where they'll pull things that are 15 years old and they can dispose them or they dispose them.
yeah.
I think it's cheaper to bring them back and dispose them ourselves.
Yeah. But, Sam's been working with them a lot, but it's been great. I mean, and Vicky's here cleaning out our files, so it's been great, yeah.
It's tedious but necessary.
Yeah.
And it's being done, so.
So I want to ask this question, and I don't know, part of me is like just quiet because there's no increase, but I'm kind of curious why there is no increase for the advertising and public notice. I keep seeing in other departments, something that I've been complaining about, big
Because I'm
increase,
hopeful that we won't need them.
percentage wise
Yeah,
at
I
least.
mean, yeah, our costs keep going up for that, but I sort of looked at what we spent last year and went off of that and tried to hope that we won't need to, increase
Okay,
that line
so you're
too
thinking
much.
maybe it will stay pretty level.
I hope so, yeah.
Okay,
It's
But it's
more
a-
quantity
Yeah.
of public legal
Yeah.
notices as opposed to cost.
Right.
Cost might be going up, but less of them. So that's why it stays a little bit
okay,
balanced.
so maybe you have a lower quantity.
Correct.
And where we
Right.
can, I mean, unfortunately, the local paper is cheaper, but it's a weekly publication. So if we have a time crunch, then we have to use the Register and it's more expensive. But as much as possible, we try to use the Courier because they're a lot less expensive.
Yeah.
There's one more thing I think I should offer. Kind of looked at my own increase and didn't look so good on paper. But I kind of was curious with the Board of Finance, I'm sorry, the increase to the stipends for Board of Selectmen members. I think that's voted on by Board of Finance, if I remember.
Correct.
Yeah.
How did that originate?
How many years does that cover? Because I was at 25% increase, pretty substantial year over year.
Well, it basically goes into effect as a fiscal year. The next fiscal year, so.
So do we do that every election cycle, or when's the last time? there was some kind of
Every
increase?
selectman election cycle.
It was cut. It was actually
cut from
reduced from
10.
10 to
It was 10 for a while. It was 10
8
and it was cut and it stayed cut and then it was increasing this past.
In 2017, the Board of Selectmen stipends were cut from 10 to 8.
Yeah.
So
we had 8 years at 8,000 a year and now we're getting a raise.
Okay, because as an example, inflation's not a perfect measure, but I want my increase to be somewhere in line with inflation, considering that sometimes I would like to ask other
It's very
employees to have an increase somewhere
This
in
isn't
line.
gonna
with
be 25% next year and the next year and the next
You
year.
have to.
It'll be 0 the next
It's
year.
not.
No.
Oh, I got it. I'm sorry. No,
No, and you've got
I
to
just-
obviously divide that over 8 years.
so maybe
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
somewhere in line with a reasonable increase over the.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the selectmen, it's a set amount. And that set amount carries for 4 years.
Okay,
For the first selectman, it is basically it's an increase every year based on
all
certain
right.
factors.
It might not necessarily put a dent in the budget, but
Public acknowledgement, we did not lobby
let
for
me at
this.
least
Well, that's, I
have my
want to,
increase.
yeah,
be reasonable.
I want to make sure that that's clear.
Yeah.
We didn't ask for
No, I
this.
wasn't even aware of
We were
that.
shocked
The Board
what
of Finance made a
happened.
decision based on a lot of different factors that had no input from the first selectman or the board, or any of the selectmen. So I could go There was no input.
Or the other candidate.
Oh, yeah, we don't decide any of
We
this.
used ourselves.
Yeah, we had to.
There was no
I had to
discussion
recuse
or
myself,
vote
right?
taken
And
by.
if I remember correctly, neither of you were even at the meeting.
No, that's right.
So there was,
They were not.
I
It was
remember
never-
recusing myself, so I
We-
thought I
but
was
we didn't-
at
but we
one of
didn't-
those
we
meetings.
but we didn't vote that
We
particular.
didn't discuss or vote that.
Do we have, I mean, what would happen if we said no, thank you? It's not that I'm necessarily proposing it, just speaking for
I've
myself.
already spent mine. No.
No, right.
I don't know if there's.
It's on the credit card already.
But it is not unprecedented other places where the chief elected officials have declined to take the salary that has been allocated to them. I believe the Essex First Selectman does that, Norm Needleman. He doesn't take a salary, even though there's a salary. And I am aware of other chief elected officials who have declined to take an increase. The position rate still stays there, but they
Just
don't take the full
Yeah.
amount. And I'm not suggesting that's what you guys do.
Right.
Quite honestly.
The Board of Finance
The work you
focus
do,
is there.
we're getting the bargain.
It was especially with, at least on the selectmen, the 8 years, and there's a lot of things behind the scenes that we'll be doing over the next, year during your term. And it was felt that it needed to go back to where it was from the.
Well, over 8 years, I feel like it's kind of looking at.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain that
It's
one.
not even 3% compounded,
Okay,
less than 3%.
that sounds more in line.
One, I'm glad to see the increase in the first selectman salary too.
Could I just
Again, deserved.
take a moment? Karen did mention one thing in that miscellaneous item about expenses that come up for certain departments, that certain boards or commissions that don't have a budget. And she specifically mentioned affordable housing. Just so you guys, so everyone will understand, on next Monday's agenda, there will be an item related to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. We are modifying it slightly to allow for some expenses to be covered. When we put that trust fund together, we had it very narrowly defined as the only expenses only related to acquisition, identification of properties and or potential assistance purchasing those properties, whatever. But we are going to expand that to include allowable expenses from the Affordable Housing Commission. Their efforts to promote affordable housing and research, because they are effectively their staff assistants to planning zone and our plans. They are a resource. They have a video, and there are a couple other miscellaneous expense, possible legal notices, and Mary Jane is going to be setting up the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, and to last week, I guess it was, planning and zoning approved the modification to the 405 Whitfield Street condominium complexes. They went from 8 remaining units to 14. Planning and zoning and legal in the interpretation said that kind of modification would trigger the affordable housing set aside. The developer has opted to make a contribution in lieu of the set aside. The agreed to contribution for that for the opt out will be $500,000. Starts at 500,000, right? First one in. Took us a couple of years to get there, but we're there. And there'll be others. I think I would anticipate.
And that's kind of
village.
unusual, but it's a great start to the trust fund.
Right. So the expenses associated with some of the work that they're doing to promote affordable housing. That's the change to the ordinance that we're looking to make. It's very narrowly defined. You'll see it. So the anticipation is we'll get the ordinance modified to allow for those expenses. which quite honestly, we were pretty narrow-minded when we first put that together. Didn't even contemplate that there would be some expenses related to the promotion of affordable housing initiatives. So that'll be on the agenda. And Mary Payne will, once once we approve the change in the ordinance, that expense will then be allowable. They can go to contract with the videographer to put that together, similar to what they did 12 years ago. The video that was paid for by
Yeah.
Guilford Foundation.
Yeah.
Guilford Foundation is also paying for about half of the cost of this video.
It's about 8,000 already raised for the video, but we want to do well, as good as we can do within financial parameters, but I think we need about 15 to do what we think is the most
Right, so I think it's, they're
Yeah.
looking for 7 or 8,
Yeah.
whatever it is, but at that point, we will have a receivable due to the festival, and this will be an expense against that receivable. So, all right, just want full disclosure and also heads up, so I don't have to explain it on Monday.
And I think the interesting thing was that when we set up the Affordable Housing Trust, I think this is in the P and Z rewrite, inclusionary zoning. I think it was any developer doing 12 units or more. So this developer going from 8 to 14.
No, 5.
Oh, 5 units?
5 triggers it. It's a 12% set aside, so 5 triggers it.
Okay.
Because 4 is less than half.
Yeah.
5 gets you 0.6, which gets rounded up. So it's
Okay.
5 units
Okay.
or more triggers the affordable, the affordable housing inclusion, the
I know.
inclusionary zoning.
I know, I sort of lost it too, but.
Well, no, you were right. You had the right numbers,
I
just applying.
Right, but
It is a 12% set aside.
anyway, this was a really nice, positive thing.
Yes.
Oh, good.
And the other interesting thing about that, I know we don't, is that initially at Guilford Village West, that developer was going to also have to pay something into the Affordable Housing Trust. And first said he was going to do no affordable housing there. And then when he looked at the numbers, he was like, oh, we'll do 20, which is what we want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really, that's what we wanted.
So
But I
there's a
think-
statutory payment in lieu of meeting the housing.
Yes.
Or you can say, I'll just do what the objective
Build
is.
what the number is.
Maintain it.
I think there are 21 units that would be required.
I think so, something like that.
162
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
like that.
I have a question, Matt.
Yes.
Is the pension committee set up the same way where they get their expenses out of the pension trust?
Yes, most of
Their
them,
precedent for this?
most of them, yes.
The fund for the pension covers, certain things. It covers our, advisor, that helps, with the pension. But a lot of the things are paid by the town, all legal fees, the actuarial costs, all of that are covered by the town, not the trust.
They don't have an external source and no one else is putting money into it.
No, no, and the pension, the pension commission themselves are only responsible for the money that we put in the trust, not anything else related to the budget. So,
Can the committee spend money from the trust without any kind of vote by
No.
referendum on the
No.
budget items? Or
no,
still be voted upon and included in the budget?
correct, only what's allowable by them, and they do contract with a consultant, which the award comes through the selectmen. So they can only make a recommendation to the selectmen for that type of service. They can't, they don't have the power at all to spend the money. It's all comes back to this board.
Okay, and you just wanted to make sure like any kind of appropriations or money spent.
All has to come through this board,
Voters have.
through this board, yep.
Okay,
Actually, there are some, they do have the authority to commit funds when they grant pensions.
Oh, to expend the pension, well, yes, to expend the pension based on actuarial, but they can't, I mean, that's their job to give the pension up, but anything else, they're not authorized to do.
The town pays for the actuarial,
Legal,
evaluation.
evaluation,
Somebody's pension is.
any audit we might do on it, all of that.
Then the pension committee actually has the authority to vote to grant the pension to the individual.
Right.
That is not a board of selectmen, which
Right.
is set up perfectly right. You don't want political actors controlling who does get their pension and who doesn't get their pension.
And it's all based on actuarial.
So if it follows that model, would they theoretically be able to say, yeah, we're gonna spend some of this money on a project?
No,
Affordable housing project?
the pension trust?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I
New
thought you were,
affordable housing.
I'm sorry, I thought you were still asking about pension.
Well, I'm kind of talking about is modeled after the way the pension
It is,
committee works.
I would not say it's modeled after the pension whatsoever. There's no, it's apples and oranges.
You'll get a copy of the ordinance, in the packet, and the proposed change, which is really just one, not even a full sentence, it's a couple of qualifiers. But, when we set up the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, we were very careful to determine who had control over any expenses out of that trust fund. And it is the Board of Selectmen. The committee themselves does not have the authority to spend money out of that. You'll see that language pretty explicitly written in the ordinance.
Okay.
All right. And for exactly the reasons I think you're.
Yeah, and that was my concern.
We did not want this board to lose control over that process because theoretically you could get rogue actors on the affordable housing, no offense, rogue actors on the Affordable Housing Commission who just try to implement policy other than that is endorsed by the Board of Selectmen.
Understood. Got it.
That clear? Is that consistent with your understanding?
Yes.
All right. Well, sorry. Finance.
Okay, passed out, explanation of our budget. As far as salaries, we have two positions that, currently do not have contracts for next year, so money is set aside in reserve for personnel. Couple changes you'll see here, Jonathan, our legal notice and budget publication has gone up. It's very, very costly to put the budget, in the publication, and, we try to work really hard to bring that down, but it's difficult.
That's like the bifold two.
That's that whole, yeah, that's that whole thing. Annual audit, where we are under contract now for 3 years, that's the new cost. Office supplies and office equipment were cut last year as part of our 3%. So we're just kind of bringing those back up to the levels we had last year. Permits, dues, and subscriptions, and all of our membership fees for finance, purchasing, and that's what that is. Under education and training, I took a huge cut last year in our education and training, and I'm hoping to bring that back. We have some certifications that Darlene is looking to seek. She's public procurement certification, and we also have the inclusion of she would like to become a certified financial public official, a designation that I myself do not have, but I have my master's degree, so typically finance directors are one or the other. Darlene has expressed an interest in that, and she is the future of our department, so I am supporting those for her, so I'm hoping you will as well. Again, that's where we took a huge cut last year when we had to find the 3%. Tried to cut out the audit and the publication of the budget, but they wouldn't go for it. So other than that, if you have any questions.
Did you want to touch on the new GFOA?
Oh, okay,
concept
yeah.
of the membership
So,
for everybody?
So we belong to the National GFOA and Connecticut GFOA. National GFOA has just changed their membership model. It's $500 a year for a community with our population. We used to pay that just for me. If Darlene wanted to take a class, we had to pay that for her. Now their model is $500, like I said, for our community, and anyone and everyone within the town of Guilford can now take a class through GFOA. And that's been huge for us. But when we put Darlene on, and then when Darlene would have to sign in and say she was taking a class, and we were kind of doing it that way. But their new model allows, someone in the police department could take a class on how to do their purchase orders or how to, so I'm not quite sure how that's it's benefiting GFOA on the number of members they have, certainly not getting the money they used to. So obviously, their goal, just like Connecticut GFOA, is education. So this is a way for them to increase the number of people who can benefit from their education. There is a slight fee to take the course. Could be some are $50, some are $250, depending on what it is. But you don't have to be you don't have to be a paid specific member anymore.
Can you see if there are things that we should take or that the Board of Finance might be interested in doing? Is there anything?
GFOA.org, go on and look at their training and if there's something.
Right.
Absolutely.
CCM has things. I mean, there's an annual event.
We've done
I did it 2 or 3 times. I did it with Mike, and I did it along once. It was amazing. Up in Avon or something. I don't remember where it was.
Yep.
But some of those things are fantastic. And I don't know that there was any cost. I don't know. So
Well, GFOA has a cost, they have to pay for get it.
on budgeting and just planning.
But yeah, GFOA.org.
Susan, they offer a lot of great programs that you would definitely find interesting in your line of work for certain.
You
Want to reach out or something else?
I had a GFOA membership when I was chairing Board of Finance for a number of years and advantage of some of their materials, and it was worth it. And that was one where you used to have to pay the extra for me. Right now,
Yeah, well, that was Connecticut, I think, GFOA that we paid extra for you. Which we have 4 conferences a year. You're welcome to come to that. But yeah, go on to GFOA.org, look at their training, and
Mary Jane, I hear a couple of times that they got cut on maybe office equipment or office supplies, and that they just want to be back to where they are. And it's really like kind of some small dollars, but I mean, wouldn't you sort of look at it and just be like, did we get by, or did we really need it, or?
well, we try each year to purchase something in our department that needs to be replaced, whether it's filing cabinets or somebody's desk, or chairs. We try to do something each year so that we don't have a $20,000 request in 1 year. So last year, what we ended up doing was we reutilized some of the chairs from in here instead of, doing something else. So that's why, like for equipment and stuff, we're looking for that. Supplies, just go down to the selectman's office sometimes and steal from them, which isn't good. So, when we didn't have the funding.
And I can understand it catches up with you. I think one time Youth and Family Services, we'd have someone who had no desk or something, or broke.
Right, again, it's a way for, Darlene is the impetus for it. She'll say, we really got to replace these desks. It's really bad. That was one of the last ones we replaced. It's not like we're coming and saying we want all new furniture for our whole department. It's, as needed. And
Correct requests like that, actually.
yeah, so that's what we kind of use that for. So last year we just, did it. Yes. Can we do without it? Yes. But it just helps us keep up with maintenance, so to speak, of the equipment that we have.
Like, for example, we are desperately in need of a new shredding machine, for day-to-day operations, and pretty much everybody within the town uses it. That thing has been on and off broken for the last 6 months.
I tried to use it yesterday.
But I won't buy a new one because it was cut.
Is everybody scared of the shredder?
It's just, I don't know.
Wear a helmet to use the shredder.
This one is
It gets a lot of use. I mean, you can imagine between HR and finance how many things we have to shred because of social security numbers and you know what I mean? So it gets a lot of use.
I have one more kind of odd thing. Sorry, it's pretty small though, but I was surprised to hear that someone from Town Properties who works in the custodial job is doing the bank deposits.
Mhm.
And I guess, I don't know if there's anything wrong with it, but it just surprised me. I actually thought your department would probably do something like that, or the tax collector would.
We're really not allowed.
Again, we really need separation of duties. So we have somebody totally not in our department. I'll have to tell you when he's away, Sam from HR does it for us. But it needs to be away from our department.
Oh, all right.
So someone from Town Hall South puts together a deposit. it comes to finance processes it, it comes to finance, we make sure it's okay, we give it to the person, he goes to the bank, and then finance process it. We got 3 people signing, not necessarily sign, but with their hands on that, instead of the money can't come to finance and then we make out the deposit slip and we go to the bank.
Yeah.
That's
we do a lot of
just,
Similar things.
When the auditors come in, those are exactly the types of questions we're asked. How, especially when it comes to handling cash. We don't have a lot of cash. Not a lot of cash comes through. Maybe the tax collector, they have their own process down there for tax collection, but when we're handling class.
It's Cybern Oxley.
Yeah, so that,
A little bit of that duty, separation of duties.
so again, when we needed someone, we worked with town properties, they were willing to allow the person to go do that. Doesn't take doesn't take up their whole day, to do that.
That's another example of that. One of the changes we made in the finance office a couple of years ago was separating the accounts receivable and accounts payable.
Yep.
For exactly those similar reasons.
Any other questions on that budget?
We're good. Debt service?
Okay, sorry.
Revenue, the
Sorry.
revenue stuff.
Oh, revenue.
Yeah, what were you thinking?
Well, I left it at $1 million. I'm probably just gonna be about there this year. So,
So the interest rate impact takes place, like we lost, there was 0.75% cut over the course of last year, right? And does that automatically affect the rates that we're paying? Or there's always this weird lag between what the Fed does and what happens in real world interest. So I don't know.
lag. Where we are, it's kind of cyclical, and it's really based on how we run our large projects. You know what I mean? Because we have, as you know, we spend our money on bonding before we recoup it. So I could be spending far more than I'm bringing. You know what I mean? So that causes this
Immediately out of reserve fund balance for big projects.
Correct.
And they're not available.
So it's not available, no longer available to me to invest.
And then it bonds and that.
And then I get the money back in. Yeah, correct. Yeah. Yeah. Same with our taxes. Taxes come in July. I'm up here by, October, November, we're down here. So, but yeah, there's a lag. The STIF fund, has been very steady, even through, the ups and downs. They've been very steady. We have money out in a couple different areas. I have, $5 million out in a FICA account where, the FDIC, $250,000. So this company takes our $5 million and divvies it out to all these banks, based on a bidding process, and it's an allowable use of municipal funds. So I have that. When we do get low, that's where we pull from. I also have $10 million with Morgan Stanley. They do a similar thing. I have $1 million bond with them that matures every month. So they got 10 months of $1 million. All that money that we've made, I'm reinvesting in this. If we are short on our interest revenue and we need it, I can always pull from it, but that's been a great investment for us. So try to make our money do as much as it can.
Amazing. Great.
So you're saying the rate decreases won't necessarily
It doesn't-
matter because the
correct.
balance is going up and down.
Yes,
So
balances are going up and down, and I have these different investment areas that aren't necessarily affected by the interest rate.
And our deposits are usually higher because we have an increase in taxes every year that produces a couple $1 million.
Right, yep.
okay, so that
So
offsets
that's-
a little.
That offsets it. Yep. But I'm right. I expect to be right about that $1 million. So I didn't increase it this year. We've increased it dramatically over the last few years. So, we can certainly look at that number, but that's where my recommendation is.
What's the return on the stiff instruments?
I'd have to look it up.
Okay.
It changes. Changes daily. If you go on to Stiff, it'll tell.
Yeah, it's quite a bit less than that.
Yeah. But I find that Stiff, other banks will call and say, I can do this. Stiff is right there, right there. And our money is liquid. We can get our money in 24 hours. So I look at that as well. Liquidity is important. You know what I mean? I can maybe get a quarter, I can maybe get a 1/4% over here, but I have to keep my money there. We have to make sure we have enough liquid funds to cover all of our expenses.
The insured, just stiff investment.
Yeah, but it's a different type of instrument which gives us more collateral. It's that collateralization that we look for.
Good. Have we got to that time?
Debt, did you want to talk about that? We didn't.
About that.
I did want to talk about that only because I am recommending an increase this year. We've done a considerable job of using up some of our credits, and I'm just worried that
Subsequent years.
yeah, subsequent years. So we can pass this around, and I'll just say, so this is my graph. This line across here is my ceiling. I don't want to go past this ceiling. That's the highest we were at the height of the high school. So that's my ceiling. We've been trying to keep it pretty straight. We know in a couple of years we have these big dips. We also have some large projects coming up. That's what I've been talking about. The Public Works building, police department. This is our, where we're looking to, correct. So that if we pass the authorization for those and work to bond our money, these are the times to do it. I've been saying 2031, for the past 9 years. So I am showing a little up for the next couple of years, mainly because of those credits. We had huge amount of credits for a couple of years. Rates of changing, they're not as much. I want to keep some of those credits so we can I'm trying to stay below this line before all of these things hit. So you want so I am.
And that includes the bonding that was approved. This is another thing that's always confusing.
So
Just because we approve bonding,
correct.
I mean, it hits us.
This is only the bonding that we've actually gone out and sold. So we could have 100, I think I have to pick one.
You have the potential graph that shows what we completely bonded for.
No, so we currently have $79 million out in just regular bonding. But for instance, so we have the $10 million authorization for open space. I've used 100,000 of it. We might have that $10 million for 20 years, the last 5, So just because we authorize doesn't mean that we are spending it. So, but also in that number, there is an estimate for the bond that we'll be doing in August. So we have to estimate what we'd be doing next year. So it's a 2.37% increase overall. The debt budget also includes the debt we have on the lease payments for the energy performance contract. So we're also covering that in this particular budget.
I'm just curious about that sort of the line that you'd like to stay below. It's 10 million. Did I read that right?
Is that
No, it's just over 10 million.
Okay, so it's not a percentage of
no?
budget.
It's just perception more than anything else. Once we hit that, we didn't want to go any higher
We
than that.
technically still have capacity because of the
We
budget
have-
raises. We have capacity, but
Correct.
you're right. I mean, you don't want to go higher than.
Right. I'm trying for budgetary purposes. I'm trying to keep that steady because, if we didn't use our credits, your debt budget would do this, and that's hard to. But as you know, it's hard to budget for that. One year you have a large increase and you have to cover it. The next year is a decrease, and then it's even harder to come back up. So my goal is using those credits to try to keep it pretty steady. I was able to bring it down a little bit for a number of years, but I'm at that point where it's getting harder and harder to do that. I mean, if you tell me keep it flat, like last year they said keep it flat, and that's what we did. We used every credit we needed to keep it flat because last year's budget was hard. This one, will be difficult as well. But my recommendation is just that slight increase, just to hold on to some of those credits.
So is that the third line down reduction? premium?
Yes.
So we're proposing using 500,000.
No, we used 500,000 this year, right? Or what am I saying?
I was saying 500 for the coming year.
Okay, so then, all right, so yes, we're
Right.
using 500 for the coming year,
So we're
right?
using a little more than
We are, but I'd hate to go, as you can see, I have to use 500 just to keep us where,
That's it.
yeah. But so clearly, all, as last year, we had a big discussion on this and what to do. So it's all up to you. I'm just giving you my, recommendation on that.
So that brings up a question. Refinancing, any of those?
Anytime we can, we do.
Any that are coming due that might be attractive or not?
Not at this particular time, not with the new rules. A number of years ago, they changed the rule where we had to be within a specific time constraint for refunding. Otherwise, other years, we could pretty much do it whenever, rates were good.
What's the policy driver behind that? Like, what, that's a
Utility.
congressional rule? Or
It's
an
like,
county
yeah,
rule?
it's like legislatures, yeah,
A federal rule.
yeah, we have to follow.
Taking away municipal bonding, benefits of municipal bonding. There are some conversations
The
going.
tax-free benefit, you mean,
Yes,
people who
tax-
buy them.
Yes,
Interesting.
that on arrival, though. Sure. That's how government's financed.
I do have one
Yeah,
last
whatever
item.
whatever things are proposed.
Yeah, what do you got?
I have one last item to discuss with you. We typically don't have it as part of our, as part of these meetings, but we do pay Guilford's portion of the transfer station into the transfer station funds, it's a totally separate fund. We are there is a recommendation to increase that from 85 to 90,000 this year. Right here. And I'm just gonna read to you what I received from Janice. Janice oversees the waste transfer station as part of the agreement between Madison and Guilford, between her and her commission or committee or whatever it is. So she says, in reviewing the revenues expenses for the waste transfer station over the past several years, it has become apparent that an increase in each town's contribution makes sense. Each town has been contributing 85,000 per year since 2019. No increase since 2019. Prior to 2019, the contribution was about 80,000 since 2015. So, written a bargain here. But there are higher contributions in the past, such as approximately 117,000 in 2009 by Guilford. That was to shore up, The Waste Transfer Station Advisory Committee approved her recommendation to increase the contribution by $10,000 per town, bringing it to $95,000 each. So she's asked to include that in the budget for 2027. So going to go from 85 to 95. But that is an increase in a budgetary line, so I just wanted to bring that to your attention. So Madison will be doing the same.
But in a sense, if we agree to that, Madison agrees to that, each town is that becomes off limits the reduction.
Correct.
Because we're making a commitment to our partner in managing this property.
Correct.
And they are making the same commitment.
Correct.
Does it run break even basically or loss? Or?
Well, let me continue then. The operating budget last year was about $60,000 short budgetarily. Much of that is attributed to the increase in bulky waste expenses, which saw a dramatic increase with our bid last year. The tipping fee at the transfer station increased in 2022, and we will continue to look at whether another increase may be warranted within the next year. We are also in the midst of a study being conducted by a consultant for the transfer station to make recommendations about operations, fees, and infrastructure changes. That study is expected to be available in the spring. As you know, many things are in flux with solid waste management and with the transfer station operations having had many changes in the past year or two. The implementation of the pay-as-you-throw program and food scrap collection, to name a couple. We will continue to look for efficiencies and reductions in expenditures and increase revenue streams when possible.
The food scrap thing could not be any easier. I mean, if you're going to the transfer station to drop off
There once a week.
paper, non-food trash, You literally drive by the thing, have your green bag. And it reduces the volume. And the number of things that, the amount of trash in the general trash is way down too, just on my sort of unscientific.
That was the goal. That was the goal of the
It
food
is a
scrap
lot
program.
less.
I'll tell you, I'll have Janice pull together some numbers on it, because the last time we looked at it, the tonnage coming out of that food scrap version last summer was way. That's heavy. And what you have now is you have the class of users of the waste transfer station that barely ever went there before because they use private haulers. All right.
No, I see, yeah.
And now people are actually making a special trip.
Oh,
I being one of them.
because that's interesting.
Once a week, to get rid of the food waste diversion. Now, if you can just convince my wife that the little box on the counter is okay, she won't. It's my job. Yeah, I have to put it in the 5 gallon pail outside. But the numbers are huge. I'll have Janice pull something together. And you're right, our tipping fees have gone down.
Yeah.
All right. With removing all the garbage that we have here. And obviously, some of the revenues have gone down because people are actually benefiting from the pay as you throw.
Yeah.
And one thing that I was talking to Selectmen call for 200 Saybrook yesterday about this. One of the reasons for the success of this program has been the attitude of the folks who work at the waste transfer station. Stereotypically, we might not think that group would be supportive of this kind of initiative, but they have been nothing but positive about the pay as you throw. Butch, who I love down there, right? Butch, we're told he says, so I tell people all the time, here's the difference. This is what you would do with $9. This is what you're getting for $2-3 bags. And it's remarkable that they are promoting the efficacy of this program. So, yeah.
I'm just curious, shifting gears maybe back a little bit to something she said, but $60,000 deficit in the operating budget, is that includes their revenue?
Yeah. Yes.
And
That's
then
net.
the recommendation is just to increase Guilford and Madison's contribution by 10,000 each?
Well, that was a one-time. Keep in mind that they have fund balance. So, between use of fund balance and future projections, that's what the committee came up with.
Okay, so that's enough to close that gap.
So they're recommending. They have all.
And the bulky waste is the not the trash, not the recycling, the construction stuff.
Materials, yeah.
Correct.
Not mattresses go in a separate place. So there's that one.
Furniture. Bulky waste.
There was a time I can remember years ago where all of that generated revenue for towns. There's always,
revenue,
you could sell off all of that stuff. Yeah, nothing. Just can't do that anymore. Florida actually gave up recycling. They couldn't find any place to take it.
China dropped out.
Yeah, so I no longer recycle. You know how hard it is not to recycle when you're so used to recycling? It's like, how can you take that water bottle, you put it in your trash, and it's like, this is wrong.
You couldn't even do it voluntarily if you
No,
wanted.
they got
nowhere to bring it.
No, I could put it out that way and they're just gonna throw it in the garbage. So their choice was just not to recycle anymore. That's Florida.
Just while we're on garbage, I was on the Zoom call yesterday. No, it was Teams call. Sorry, state use.
There we go.
State uses Teams. Around the grant that we've recently received. This is the second round of DEP solid waste management grant one at $300,000 to try to develop a preferred hauler program. We would identify a hauler who was willing to do solid waste recycling and food scrap diversion all in one. It's an emerging trend nationally. We would, again, if fully endorse that company as the private hauler of Guilford, for Guilford, the town of Guilford, and endorse them and share with them some the proceeds of the grant to help them get the program up and running. So as I said, this is the second effort, the second grant that we got. The first one was doomed to failure for. That's where we picked two providers, and we did this in conjunction with Madison. We picked two existing homeowners to do the modeling. Just so they had to create a center. That stuff. Well, dropped out. So it just didn't meet their model. So you know, they didn't actually try to get these sure capacity all three is going to have vehicles that will accommodate. So it'll be interesting to see. Because eventually Pennsylvania and Ohio are not going to be taking garbage that's running down I-95, I-80. Yeah, so and that's the other thing. We are still enjoying some of the lowest tipping fees in the state of Connecticut. Contracts we put in place. Correct. We are paying substantially most municipalities are for their tipping fees. And part of that, the tipping fees is outrageous. The plant, the trash energy plant in Hartford, they shut down. They shut down. So where it's going to require significant hundreds of millions of dollars of investment. And they shut down. A lot of communities were scrambling. A lot of communities were scrambling. Materials taken somewhere.
I think one of those favorable contracts.
I think we're.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. There's gonna be a balance when that comes.
So I just, before everyone leaves, just as a reminder, we are meeting on January 26th. Next review. Please, if you have any questions, please don't give them to me on the 25th. I'm telling you this right now, not answering it. Anything I get on the 25th, you're not getting an answer for.
Mondays.
Right.
Regular meeting is the following.
Right, so you're, right,
Regular meetings next.
Tuesday. Monday's a holiday, so it's a Tuesday, but get whatever questions you might have as soon as possible. If you want answers for that meeting, you know, because I'm gonna have to maybe get answers from somebody else, get them together, get them to you. So, the sooner you get those to me, the better.
Do you have more things that you're gonna put on ClearGov, or is everything what you've got on there at this?
I think I have more stuff that department heads have been like throwing at me these past couple of days. And also, so yesterday while we were meeting, I sent an email to ClearGov about training for that. They've put together they've put this together for us overnight. A video just explaining how you can go on and do. So I'm going to forward it to both boards. So they didn't have specific like training, you know, they have help desk, but I haven't reviewed it. So I'm just going to send it to you guys. Hopefully it's helpful. So great.
And when do we usually get our grand list info?
It's by state statute, it has to be by the 31st. Not to foreshadow it, but Becky was three components. Surprising reversal of a trend. Motor vehicle is up over 5%. So remember we took that huge hit last year because of the they went through a depreciation schedule versus the classic blue book. So she said it's up about 5%. So if we could get close to a 1% growth in the grant list, that would be really helpful.
That would be really helpful.
Yes, it would be.
So I probably won't have that for the 26th, but maybe the 28th if we get preliminary numbers. We'll see. Soon as
I'm not pressuring her, but
no.
She did have a conversation.
She's been great. When she has them, she gives them to us. In the past, other assessors, absolute no, you couldn't bribe them. So, but maybe, you know, before you make a final recommendation.
Okay, I got that. All right, well.
Okay, I think I'm done.
Nothing less to do. I want to take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, MJ.
You're welcome.